everyone. Good evening. Happy Tuesday to you all. And it is time for another episode of Top 5. The last one before my summer break. But unfortunately, I do not have my co-host here tonight. He is feeling ill. So I'll be hosting myself. Shout out to Jason. Hope he's feeling better and gets back to 100% ASAP. But in the meantime, while I'm gone, he is planning on doing some top fives while I'm gone. I just haven't talked about what those are. But anyways, we got a awesome panel of guests. Actually, same ones as the last episode of Top 5. So we got Batman joining us from Gotham. What's up, Nightmare?
Hey, how's it going? I am, for copyright reasons, I am in fact not Batman, but I appreciate the comparison. I'm doing well. Good to see you again, man.
Good to have you on as always. Always love hanging out with you and chatting with you. So glad we're able to do this one more time before I'm gone for a little while. So, and we got my my actual co-host, just not from Top 5, my party chat co-host Ryan joining us again. Good evening, Ryan. How are you tonight?
I'm outstanding, and for copyright reasons, I am Batman. Also, at the
you
same
are
time,
Batman.
on the weekends, I am Optimus Prime, and if anything, But no, it's good to be here. I forgot we're doing this. So, shout out to Neo for.
Yeah, I had a feeling that Ryan forgot, so I sent him a message about an hour ago. I'm like, hey, just a reminder, we got Top 5 in about 45 minutes. And
Yeah.
So glad you guys are both here tonight. And so shout out to Carl. He's live over on his channel right now. But this topic was his idea. He's bummed he's not able to make it because he's live on his channel right now. He would have liked to have been here, but he scheduled his stream because he thought I was going to already be gone. So, but now that Jason's not here for this stream because he's not feeling good, maybe him and Carl, Jason, Carl, and someone else can do a Licensed Games Part 2 while I'm gone. But yes, this is episode 33 of not Party Chat, Top 5, and we are ranking our top 5 favorite licensed games. So, for that, I had to explain it to. Well, I don't know if I had to explain it, but Ryan wanted some clarification. So that is, a game being made on an existing IP that they had to license the rights to in order to make the game.
Yep.
So I thought this one was going to be a lot harder than it was going to be because just in my head, I'm like, there's a lot of licensed games out there. But then when I actually started looking through all the games I've played, it's like the amount of licensed games I've played that are actually good is a lot less than I thought it was going to be. So this wasn't too terribly hard of a list to make. When I narrowed it down, as usual, I like to keep it to like one per franchise or one per IP. Otherwise, I could have filled this entire list with an episode of Top 5 that we've already done before. I'll talk about that when we get to that one later. But because I like to keep it to one entry per IP or franchise, I basically had like 6 total to choose from, so I just had to narrow that down to 5. So it wasn't too bad. Was this a terribly difficult one for either of you guys, or was it pretty simple as well?
My top ones were very, very easy, but after that, narrowing everything down was really hard. I have a lot of honorable mentions.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes it's easy to pick like your favorite or your top 2 favorite, and then sometimes it's like, I know for like Carl, he often says that picking his number 5, which one's going to make the cut, which one gets cut, that's the hard part. So, do you have a tough time, Ryan?
Actually, no. And I was actually late to the party on this one. No, I actually was not hard to do because again, there are so many licensed things based off real world, television, movies, sports entertainment, sports itself. These are all licensed products. And so yes, I was very late to the party, and I'm already populating. I have populated my list in my head.
Is going on the fly.
Yeah, well, it really wasn't that hard once I knew, because I was like going, wait, okay, licensed, and then you clarified. I'm like going, okay, I got this. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right, so
I'll do like you though. I'm gonna pick one per category because there is I could probably go on for 20, 30 games easily.
Oh, that's not a requirement. That's just what I like to do. So you don't have to do that if you don't want to.
I'll keep it as kind of close to center as the rest of the panel. So
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining me for another episode of Top 5. And it is typical for Jason to kick it off, but he's not here tonight. So in his stead, I will go first. I think this is the first one that I've done without. He's done one or two without me, but I think this is the first time I've done a top 5 without him. So, but all right. So for me, let me pull up my list here. So for going with my number 5 is, I had a feeling when I was originally just narrowing it down to, because I just made a list of like licensed games that I've played, and then I narrowed down the ones that like these ones I actually really like. And these are ones that are just okay. So it was easy to kind of narrow that down to the 6 I mentioned. I thought this one would be higher, but because I haven't played it in forever, and it's more of a nostalgia factor, I did put it lower down on my list, even though I played this a ton and I still love it, but it's not even my favorite game in this franchise of this era, but the one that came after it is not a licensed game. But anyways, that is GoldenEye N64 GoldenEye. So I always say Perfect Dark is better, even though they're both great games, but I haven't played this game basically since the N64 era. So it probably hasn't aged as well as I would think it would. And because of that, I put it lower down on my list, but it's in my top 5 because I do love this game a lot. And I've mentioned it all the time that I've been working my way up to get my completion percentage recovered so I can play all these games that I've been backlogging. I finally did that. I'm in the process of diving all the games that I've had in my backlog, and I did get the first achievement in GoldenEye, the one that came out like 3 or 4 years ago. It's this N64 version. It's just like upscaled or whatever. So I did launch it and played it for a couple minutes and beat the first level. And it was like, reminding me of my childhood again. But it still looks like an N64 game. It just plays a little smoother. But I love this game, and I'm looking forward to playing through it in its entirety again for the first time in forever. This was probably my first-person shooter I ever played. I'd have to really go back and look at it, but I'm pretty sure this is what got me into shooters. Oh wait, no, you know what? Definitely my first console first-person shooter. I think the first-person shooter I ever played was probably Dark Forces. But yeah, so GoldenEye, I love the game. I had a lot of fun playing this, with the buddies back in the day, playing 4-player split screen before System Link and Xbox Live was a thing. We went on some long field trips a couple of times, and we went in. My buddy, his dad had a Suburban, so we'd all pack in the Suburban. They got like this converter thing, so they could plug the TV in the N64, and we could play it on the road trips. It was just so much fun. So I had a lot of fun with GoldenEye. I love the game. I always talk about Perfect Dark, but that's not a licensed game. That was original IP, so that one doesn't count for this list. But I do love GoldenEye, so that is my number 5.
You're so killing my Neo hates fun joke. Like, you're really killing it, dude. Like, because you literally picked GoldenEye as the first one, and I'm like going, well, now I can't say Neo hates fun. So,
okay. I thought you were, man. I was furthering the
stereotype.
I'm going against the stereotype because I do like GoldenEye.
Yeah, Stop it. It's a long running joke that you hate fun. Stop it.
So I believe over the times that we've talked about it, you were also a big fan of GoldenEye, were you not?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be higher on the list, trust me.
Okay, so okay, well, I won't spoil it too much. Nightmare, did you play much of GoldenEye? Or was that before your time, since I know I got you by a few years?
I never had a Nintendo 64 myself, but a friend of mine did.
Okay.
But I know we played it a little bit, but I think we played the other James Bond game on the 64. The World Is Not Enough.
Not Enough, that's right. I always wanted to play that one, but I never did.
Yeah, it was a pretty good one. I don't know if it had multiplayer though.
I don't know either, but I do know it has a retro achievement set because I do plan to play it at some point.
Nice.
As well as GoldenEye, of course. But Oh, one thing. I do like to mention this because a lot of people don't know this when we're talking about GoldenEye is it blew my mind when I figured this out, but you could plug a controller into controller port 2 and you could go into your settings and change it because there was a couple of different controller profiles. You couldn't customize it like what button did what, but it had a bunch of preset ones. There was like 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. Then there was 2.1, 2.3, 2.4, whatever. If you did any of those 2 point whatevers, you could use them both to control your one person. So it was basically playing a modern first person shooter with 2 joysticks. You're just using 2 controllers. It was great, and I loved it. And a lot of people didn't know about that. And every time I mentioned it, they're like, "What? You could do that?" Because it wasn't until the next generation where dual joysticks became the standard with GameCube. So it was cool getting to do that in GoldenEye and Perfect Dark on the generation before it became standard. So that was a really cool thing. Not a lot of people know about. So, all right. What about you, Nightmare? What is your number 5?
Right. So my number 5 right here.
Ooh, that was fancy.
Yeah,
That
added
is
some
fancy.
transitions.
Nice.
So my number 5 right here is Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I love this game. In fact, I can't tell you just how much I love this game. Here's
And
a little bit of
specifically the first one.
Yes, the first one is, in my opinion, the best one. This is a little bit of gameplay actually on my own channel. So this game, it is this was made before the Avengers was a thing, before even the first Iron Man movie was a thing.
Yeah, this came out
2006.
2006. Okay, because Iron Man was started the MCU was 2008.
Yep. And so this was like right before Spider-Man 3, which is why, but even by default, on the cover of the game, let me see if I can show you really quick again. Spider-Man still has like the Sam Raimi logo for the costume there.
Okay. I'd have to see the difference between the Spider-Man logos.
Oh, you're showing gameplay. Damn, man, that's cheating. You're gonna win. Oh wait, never mind.
It's not a contest.
No, this is gameplay I recorded like years ago just to show the game running at higher frame rates. But so this game did the whole Avengers thing bigger and in some ways better than the MCU did.
Okay.
Way before the MCU did it. And they did such a great job of weaving the lore, such a great job with the license of like weaving the lore into the game.
Because there was a big roster in this, right?
It's huge. 20, somewhere around 27 characters by default. And you pick your favorite 4 and you can swap them around as you like. Let me switch to a little different gameplay here. Not that.
What's it called again?
Marvel
Ultimate Alliance.
There were 3 of them, but talking about the first one.
Yeah, the first one is the best one.
On Steam.
It used to be on Steam for a very short while, and then it was delisted. But that was actually a remaster that was on Steam. The original is actually very, very easy to find if you look around.
Yeah, well, at least on Xbox it's been delisted, but it is available physically. And I know dudes over in Rumble saying, "Sorry, I'm late. What have I missed?" He was talking about Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 on one of our achievement chasers a year or so ago. But what's up, dude? All you missed so far was my number 5 was GoldenEye, and we're on to Nightmare with Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah, and so this game basically they wrote. The basic plot concept is Dr. Doom tries to steal Odin's power, so Thor's dad, Odin, tries to steal his powers and rewrite reality. I don't love the writing for Dr. Doom in this game because I prefer him as more of a little bit of a benevolent dictator, but it's still pretty cool. And so because of that, Nick Fury pulls together like every Marvel superhero. And so it's sort of like a proto-Avengers kind of thing. And so there's this huge modding community for this game as well. And so if you I just closed the tab, but the gameplay that I showed earlier from my channel, you might have seen Batman in there and a bunch of like modern costumes. And the reason for that is
Batman in Marvel Ultimate Alliance. That's funny.
Yeah. There are character mods for Batman, Superman. I made one for Robin. There are Green Lantern. So like a bunch of DC characters you can play as. I think some people added like Dragon Ball characters at one point, maybe. So you can just add anything you want. there's because the modding community is so massive. On top of that, in recent years, the community figured out how to nearly double the roster size. So now you can install a mod to pick. You can put in up to 50 characters and pick from them in game, which is really cool. I actually built a modding tool that is currently used for the game right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, I really do love this game. The story is pretty cool. I described the story earlier, and yeah, they just did such a great job with this license, and there's so much you can learn about like the wider Marvel universe from playing this game because it just takes you all around. There are levels that are, this takes place on the Shield helicarrier. What you're seeing right now, you go to Atlantis, you meet Namor, the real Namor, not the weird one from the movie.
Namor.
Yeah, not the weird Spanish one, with the thing in his nose. You go to space at one point. It's just incredibly cool. And yeah, at the end you get to fight Doctor Doom. And it's awesome. There were some like DLC characters and stuff like that throughout the different ports. I think of course, in my opinion, the best way to play it is going to be on PC. There's like a community mod pack with like the basic most important mods, and so you want to install those. But yeah.
And Ryan, you said it's not on Steam, right?
No,
It's not on Steam.
no, I literally
Is it on
looked at-
GOG?
No.
Well,
But it's on the
Fable
Dream
rocks.
list.
Is it on Epic?
No, it's not available anywhere.
Oh, so
Yeah.
if
So
you
the original was
wanted
actually
to get
like
a hold of it right now, would console be your only option?
Well, let's just say if you look for it,
Obviously,
it's very
there's
easy to find.
illegal ways to obtain it.
Yeah.
But if it's delisted, then it's not.
It's
illegal in my book.
abandonware, right? So,
Yeah.
just go look for it. Same
Yeah,
with
if
the
it's
second game.
If it's basically a digital only title and it's not available anywhere, then there's nothing wrong with the
Yeah. I mean, there are
left and
console
save your
copies
needs
as
to get
well,
it.
but you're going to be buying a used copy either way. So,
and you can't mod it. So
yeah. So, yeah, the PC version's best.
shout out. This was also by Raven, who is a great
Yes.
studio before they got relegated to Call of Duty maps.
Yeah, just like Treyarch. Treyarch, Activision ruined so many great studios by just turning them into Call of Duty garbage.
Yeah.
Mm.
One of their games is on another of their games is on my list.
Nice. Yeah. And so there are 3 games in the series. First one is by far the best one because it's just a like sort of general storyline, whereas the second one adapts Civil War, which is, in my opinion, the story arc that ruined Marvel permanently.
I thought
And
my impression was that was a very popular storyline, but
it's popular and also controversial because
Okay.
it also directly led to Spider-Man's entire marriage being erased.
okay.
So there's that. It just wrecked Marvel massively. And then there's
2 still a good
3.
game, and 1's just better, or is most people consider 2 and/or 3 just not that great?
I know people love 3, but I think a lot of the people that love 3 are people who, the kind of people who bought a Switch and never played anything else. Or
No, more
you know,
normal audience.
Yeah, it's for a normie audience that loves like the Marvel movies and doesn't know anything else.
Okay.
I haven't played 3. I've only played 1 and 2. 2 actually was never available on PC until like the 2016 ports. But again, it's been delisted. But 2, even gameplay wise, it was a significant downgrade from 1. So the first game, it has like a lot of, I think it has more characters, more powers, better storyline. The second game has one alternate costume per character, limited number of characters, and it even like locks you out of 3 characters because you pick a side in the Civil War thing.
Oh, okay. So there's just more freedom in the first one.
Yeah, a lot more freedom and just a lot more fun. And also because it's an original storyline, I think they just had so much more room to like experiment and be creative. But yeah. And of course, 1 has more modding support.
Yeah.
The second game doesn't have as much to it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know that these are popular games. I just never played them. Not that I would have given the chance, but
if you like this
never
style
did.
of RPG, it's worth playing. I think. Oh yeah, there's a very very cool part where you go to Mephisto's realm, which is kind of like Marvel's version of hell.
Mm-hmm.
And Mephisto being, kind of like the devil, he often makes people choose like difficult decisions, quote unquote. So there's a part where, without spoiling too much, you basically have to pick someone to die. So you're stuck between saving two people. You have to pick someone to die. One of the mods, I think Magneto. I forget if he's a moddable character or if he's like one of the DLC characters that was just ported over to PC. But there is a mod that comes, I believe, by default that allows Magneto to save both characters automatically. And for the Batman mod, because he's Batman, I myself made a mod for the Batman mod that allows Batman to save everyone because he's Batman.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because I'm Batman.
Yep. So, yeah, very, very cool. I highly, highly recommend this game.
And is it a squad of 4 team members? Is that right?
Yeah, and what's nice is the game actually allows you to, if you want to, you can play the entire game as just one character. So you could literally just play like Spider-Man.
Okay.
Just have Spider-Man the whole game if you want to.
Do you have a favorite character? Not necessarily like your favorite like Marvel character, just like who's your favorite character to play as in the game?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Or, well, you know what? It might be Iron Man. It's tough. My team is usually, especially because like I always play with mods nowadays. I don't even remember what my original team choice was, but my team is always like Iron Man, Spider-Man, Batman, and Superman.
Nice.
So, yeah.
That's pretty cool. Pretty cool team.
Yep. And it's nice that the game lets you swap your team out every so often if you want to. And you have all the costumes, so you can, look exactly how you want. There are a million costume mods. So, yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, good pick. So, cool. All right, we got Star Wars Marvel Purist is in chat. He's like, oh, shoot, did I see Marvel Ultimate Alliance? Like, yes, you did. Obviously, he's a big fan of Marvel as well. Good to see you, Justin. Hope you're doing well tonight. Dude says, I played Ultimate Alliance 1. Oh, I thought it was Ultimate Alliance 2 that he was talking about on Achievement Chase. It was Ultimate Alliance 1. But yeah, I remember him talking about the achievements are very buggy in that game on 360. So, Purist says, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2 are awesome world introduction and lore video games to exposing people to Marvel. He raises both his daughters on it. Nice on those games. Awesome. And dude says Link and Samus were supposed to be in the Wii version of Ultimate Alliance, but Nintendo got mad that they were in the PS2 build because they were building the PS2 version and then ported to Wii.
Nintendo.
Nintendo never change or do because sometimes you need to. But yeah, that sounds like Nintendo being Nintendo.
Unfortunately, I would say Nintendo should change, but they keep doing the same thing and it's working for them.
Yep.
They only ever change for the worse, it seems.
It's like,
and the best.
They do some of the best things, but then they also do some of the dumbest things too.
Yeah.
It's like they make no sense, but they're still making, they're still making a lot of money.
Flagging people for playing a video game on a stream is the stupidest thing I've ever. Like, what are you doing?
It's like, it's free marketing.
Yes.
They don't understand. So, and dude also says Treyarch is at least a lead.
Japanese.
Is at least a lead studio in Call of Duty. They also have the best Call of Duty trilogy, which I'm assuming he's talking about Black Ops 1, 2, and 3, because I know he's a big fan of some of the Black Ops. But
let's just say Treyarch's best work is going to be in my top 5.
Okay. So
the best thing Call of Duty ever did was when it first started out, World War II, and then Black Ops, certain zombies. Other than that, as somebody who was in the military, Call of Duty can eat shit, and I just wish they would go away. I hate Call of Duty so much that, quite frankly, burn the damn franchise to the ground. Keep going, you losers.
Yeah, they're making it freaking Fortnite with like all the Cheech and Chong and Seth Rogen and
so bad.
What's the was it Megan Thee Stallion? It's like, why are these people in Call of Duty? They have nothing to do with this franchise.
Look, and if you like Call of Duty, that's fine. That's fine. But unless you were in the military, I don't want to hear your damn opinion about the fact that it's the best freaking first-person shooter game in the history of the world. No, it's not. It's actually ass.
I've only
It's fucking ass.
played like a couple of the Call of Duties, so I'm not.
I'd rather play Battlefield and on top of that go back and play the failed Medal of Honor games. Top tier Medal of Honor. That's where you want to.
I played. I think the original Medal of Honor on PS1 at a friend's house one time at like a sleepover.
Sorry, I get grumpy about Call of Duty. Look, it's huge. I get it. I'm probably like the minority here, but
I mean, I don't have anything.
I don't like that.
I'm just not
game,
huge on it.
So I don't even like that type of game. So
I like it. When it's something that's loosely based off of what it originated from. But Call of Duty has ventured so far off to left field that, quite frankly, it's like comparing current day MCU to the Infinity Saga, and it's like going, okay, like what am I playing? Why?
Yeah, that's a good point.
SOCOM is great. SOCOM is great.
Yeah, that's a real military shooter.
Yes.
This was 25 years ago, but I think when I played Medal of Honor, I think we took turns because we weren't playing multiplayer. We were playing the campaign. We were taking turns.
Yep.
And I think we had a cheat where we got to play as a raptor. Does that sound familiar? Because I swear we were going around clawing people instead of shooting them with guns. It was a lot of fun.
Maybe, I don't know.
It might have been a different game around that era, but I remember it was a World War II game. We were playing. I'm pretty sure I remember it was playing as a raptor, and I think it was the original Medal of Honor, but I could be wrong. Dude says the trilogy that he was talking about was World of War and Blops 1 and 2, so that makes sense. Pierce says, yeah, Medal of Honor OG was good stuff. And hello, Nerdy Hawaiian. I think that's over on Nightmare's channel. Welcome.
It's also on Twitter, so shout out. Yeah, great.
Yeah, because I don't have paid Twitter, so I can't stream to Twitter anymore. So,
really?
Yeah,
you have to be verified. Not verified, but like pay for the Twitter
the monthly
blue
$8 or whatever. I would get enough use out of it to make it worthwhile. So. Oh, my buddy IRL's Rozik's here. What's up? The older Ghost Recon games were damn good as well. GRA 1 and 2 were underrated. I did get GRA 1. I don't think it was a launch title on 360, but it came out very soon after 360 launch title, and I played that a lot. That was pretty cool. Great asymmetrical warfare games. I never played the multiplayer. I only ever played the campaign. And Nerdy Hawaiian says, actually, if I remember, you had... if you had a Dino Crisis save on your memory card. Okay, so that could have been why we were able to play as a raptor in Medal of Honor, is my friend might have had a Dino Crisis save on his memory card, because we were playing on PlayStation. So
nice.
Thank you for confirming that. So all right, well, with that, we'll go to Ryan for his number 5. Ryan, what do you got?
My number 5 is actually going to be a game that, quite frankly, it's a franchise I love. It is Indiana Jones. So. Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb.
Emperor's Tomb. Okay.
It is a game from 2003.
That's one of the point and clicks, right?
No.
Oh, that's the original Xbox game, right?
It is literally, 2003. So it's going to be an actual Xbox game. And it actually took inspiration from, I believe, Prince of Persia and Tomb Raider. The mechanics of it. And it was literally Indiana Jones. And it was the first game since what was it? It wasn't The Last Crusade. What was it? I can't remember.
I was thinking of Fate of Atlantis. I think that was one of the LucasArts point and clicks.
Yeah, no, so there was Fate of Atlantis, and then there was the Infernal Machine.
Oh, I forgot about that one. I never played them, but I remember seeing that they were Xbox games.
I think Infernal Machine was the last one before the Emperor's Tomb, and you had basically the gap of like probably something in the neighborhood of I think the Infernal Machine was maybe PS2, and Fate of Atlantis was excuse me, Emperor's Tomb was not 360. Xbox, and then going into it was PC. I don't think
Emperor's Tomb was on PS2 and it has a retro achievement set.
Oh, it was on PS2? Okay.
Yep.
Then what the hell is the Infernal Machine on?
Let's see here.
I'm literally digging way back, so that's why my memory's
Infernal
fuzzy.
Machine was on Game Boy Color and N64.
64. Damn.
And that one also has a retro achievement set.
Wait, there was one on N64? What the freak?
Yeah,
How do I not know this?
I didn't know that either. It's from Factor 5. They did Rogue Squadron.
Well, some bitch. Sorry for the language. I want one now.
Well, you know what's funny is as soon as you said Atlantis, that just brought back to my mind one of the worst licensed games of all time, Aquaman Battle for Atlantis.
Oh,
Which
I've
not even
never
heard of
played
that
an
one.
Aquaman game in my life.
I know Superman 64 is one of the
that
one of
is
the worst, but I don't know about this Atlantis one.
that's pretty bad too. So
I don't know.
I never
there's
played it
Superman
myself,
64.
but JonTron has a whole video just making fun of Aquaman Battle for Atlantis. And it's like I think
Okay.
one of the only Aquaman games to ever exist too, which is funny.
Why would you make an Aquaman game? Who cares? Look, I'm just saying Aquaman's fine.
Well, this was
He's
back in the
fine.
'90s when Aquaman was actually cool. 'Cause he
Really?
had,
I
like,
thought
Was he
Aquaman
even
was
really
really
cool then?
lame until it was played by Jason Momoa.
Oh no. So in the '90s, if you ever watched Justice League, it was a similar design that they used in the cartoon that he had in the '90s. He did kind of look like Jason Momoa, but he had a hook for a hand. It was very badass looking.
Okay, I don't know if I've ever
Yeah.
seen this version of Aquaman.
Oh yeah, it's very. Man, let me see if I can find it.
So, dude is saying that he's got the Indiana Jones game on N64, and the Aquaman game also has a retro achievement set.
Why the fuck does dude have every game under the sun on everything?
Have
Does
you
dude
seen his collection?
Does dude have the new Indiana Jones game?
That's a good question. Curious, have you played it, Brian?
What, the new one?
The
New
Great
one?
Circle?
No, I have
Oh, you haven't
not.
played it, okay.
No, I took one. I wanted to play it.
I started it the other day. Got the first achievement.
I wanted to play it, and then I saw the gameplay, and then I saw like the shooting mechanics and the whip, and I'm just like, what the hell is going on? Look, now it's probably been modded because I don't know. That was like what, 7 months ago, 6 months ago.
Oh, when it launched, yeah, it came out in like November.
Yeah, so I mean, I will eventually play it, but I'm very wary about new games launching, and that goes for the Outer Worlds 2 and even Atomic Hearts. Atomic Heart 2.
Yeah, it got announced.
Yeah, I'm gonna be very wary because games when they come out now, they have a lot of problems, and it seems to be constant down the board, no matter if you trust the publisher. So we'll see.
Okay, yeah, I've never seen this version of Aquaman before, so that does look pretty cool.
Yeah, so this was around Peter David's run in the 1990s. He made them all cool, and this is what they used as a base for the Justice League cartoon design.
Okay.
So yeah, he was actually pretty cool back then. Yeah.
So, all right. Sorry to sidetrack you there, Ryan. Go ahead and tell us more about Emperor's Tomb.
Well, that was pretty much it. It was something again came out in 2003. Excuse me. So they took inspiration from, Tomb Raider and Prince of Persia, and they put the game mechanics, with kind of like a little bit of the climbing, a little bit of the puzzle management and stuff like that. And I think it overall was a well-received game. I didn't look at the reviews, but it seems to be probably one of the better installments, probably better than the Great Circle. Again, haven't
I've
played
heard
it.
good things about it.
The Great Circle?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of praise about it, but I only played the first.
Wait, is it
5
not?
minutes.
Is it not Golden Circle? I don't think it's Great Circle.
I'm pretty sure it's Great Circle. But
Am I mixing it up? Or am I thinking of Kingsman Golden Circle?
Yeah, probably that. Hold on.
The Great Circle. Yep, it is the Great Circle.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is the Great Circle. Yeah. So I know that when it launched, it had its problems. And again, this is just a AAA kind of thing. It's like, oh, great, we launched our game. It's like, what problems do you have? And it's like, well, yeah, okay, whatever.
Well, keep in mind it was a Bethesda game, and for whatever reason, Bethesda has decided that all their new games now can't have rasterized can't have rasterized lighting. Everything has to be ray tracing,
yeah,
which
and
ray tracing just tanks performance in any game it's in.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm a big fan of Bethesda, and I understand, and I'll crap on them all day long, but there are other game studios that, I mean, look at what happened in CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk 2077. Look, you can praise the fact that the game was actually redone and massively successful a year after the launch, but it was a giant bag of
Wasn't it
assholes.
more
when it
like
launched.
2 years?
Nah, it's about a year.
Okay. But yeah, I've heard it's great now. That's another game where I have just started it.
Yeah. It's
But yeah, I've
just
heard it's a good game now. But
it's
yeah,
one of those things like, look, if you love a game, great. Go nuts. I'm gonna support you 100%. Fallout 76 guy. But I acknowledge the problems, and I acknowledge the problems I had versus the problems other people had. I'm not going to defend the launch. I'm just not going to do it. And you have people in today's world, and even guys that I work with. I was talking about the fact that, like, these new games are coming out. We were talking about it yesterday, and I'm like going, yeah, no, look, I get it, but like, look at what happened to Cyberpunk 2077. They're like, well, it eventually became a great game, and I had no problems at launch. And I'm like, dude, you're lying. You're so lying. Everybody had problems at launch. Everybody had a problem at launch. Every single thing, and that's why they had to offer refunds. And it's like, look, you like the game, great. I don't care. I'm not gonna berate you over the head. It's kind of like, Jeremy from the Courtney. He's like, I like Paul Blart Mall Cop. Me too. Great. I like the Will.
Okay,
I like the
I haven't
Mall Cop
seen
is a
that.
classic.
I
Do
like
not
the
insult
Will
Paul
Ferrell
Blart.
movie, the Will Ferrell Netflix movie Eurovision. It's a musical movie, and I love that movie.
I've
I
not
like
seen
it.
either of those movies.
Stupid. Look,
but I've not
stupid
heard good
comedies are intentionally stupid. I think they
Yeah.
should get a pass.
So it's just one of those things. Look, you like what you like. That's great. I'm not going to knock you for it. But if you want to defend it like there's no problems, that would be like going, Fallout 76 was probably one of the best games I've ever played. Even at launch, I had no problems, and it played flawlessly. And it's like, are you drinking? It's like, seriously? Are you on drugs? Like, what the hell? It's like, no.
Just another reason why being patient, waiting for a year till it comes down in price and all the patches are out, makes gaming much better. Sad, but that's how it is these days.
So
Emperor's Tomb was also on PS2 and has a retro achievement set.
That's my rant for at least right now.
All right. So
he was like, Jesus.
But to answer your question, Dude Respond, he says, no, I do not have the Great Circle because there isn't a physical version. Ew. So
I feel that, by the way. I feel that.
He said in chat, he's got.
No, I think he's saying the game isn't on the disc. And since you said the disc,
he does keep track of
downloads.
which games are actually on the disc and which ones are you have to put the disc in, and it's basically like a license key. That very well could be what you mean, where the game isn't on the disc. But
because nothing's ever on disc anymore. Everything is some kind of day one.
It depends.
There's usually like a day one update for everything.
Less and less of it are coming on disc, which is making physical gaming even more and more irrelevant. But there are games that still come fully on the disc, just it's less and less. So but yeah, he's got a very detailed catalog of all of his games. He's got over 7,300 games, and he's got pictures of his game storage room. It's awesome. So he's got almost everything under the sun. But let's hear and he also the Justice League series in 2000 boosted Aquaman status. I'm agreeing with you there, Nightmare. And he said, I used the Cyberpunk crashes as a timer when I played on the Xbox One X. Okay. And my buddy Rozic says, I remember playing the demo of the Indiana Jones game on OG Xbox at a friend's house. It was hilariously entertaining, picking up the shovel and just beating the crap out of people with it.
Yep.
So all right. I think you briefly touched on it, but where in the timeline did Emperor's Tomb fall? Was that between any of the movies, or was it after?
It took place in China, so it should have actually been, I believe, previous, because Indy left China, obviously, in the Temple of Doom to go to India.
Okay, so this was before the trilogy of movies.
If I had to guess, I did not look this up, but it does take place. The Emperor's Tomb does take place in China.
Okay,
so it should
That
be
makes
previous to Temple of Doom.
That makes sense. Oh, cool. All right. Well, good stuff. All right. Well, that will bring us into our number 4s. So, Nightmare, you want to kick off for number 4?
Sure. All right. So number 4 here. SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Yes. This is
which one is that? It's
Battle for Bikini Bottom.
Okay.
So
is that the one? There was a rehydrated
there was a remaster.
Is that the one I'm thinking of? Yes, that one
right there.
Okay.
Yes. So there is a remaster.
I know nothing about SpongeBob except for what I've seen in the memes.
So there are actually a whole bunch of SpongeBob games. I picked this one because this is the best of the. Generally, it's Battle for Bikini Bottom is considered the best of all the SpongeBob games that were ever released, which is why it's the only. I think it's the only one that got a remake.
And was the remake good?
Whatever you want to call it. The remake is fantastic. Yeah, they actually added some extra stuff in there. And these are made by THQ and THQ Nordic.
Oh, THQ, so good. Sorry.
THQ had so much great stuff back in the day, and I know Embracer's got a lot of issues these days, but like you can tell if you play the remaster, and I'll start showing some gameplay here. So this is the remaster I'm showing.
Okay.
You can just tell how much love and care that Purple Lamp, I think is the name of the studio under THQ Nordic, that made the remaster. But even the but even the original THQ,
was Heavy Iron Studios.
Heavy Iron. There you go. Yeah, but you can just tell how much love and care went into both the original and the remake. I think this is the Switch port that you're seeing, but it's just a really well done game. It feels like SpongeBob. It has SpongeBob writing. Bizarrely, for whatever reason, they couldn't get Clancy Brown to voice Mr. Krabs, but everything else is great. And it's just a classic SpongeBob game. There are a bunch more games. I myself liked a lot of the point and clicks that they had. So there was one called Employee of the Month. I believe the SpongeBob SquarePants movie game on PC was a point and click. Might have been one more.
I'm just looking at the whole SpongeBob list of games on just retro achievements, so that doesn't include the more recent ones. If there are more recent ones, and there's 34 listed here, although that does each version, like there's 4 versions of Bikini Bottom here, all of which have an achievement set.
That's interesting.
Or 3, because one of them is a subset. But Game Boy Advance, GameCube, and PS2 all have a achievement set for Battle for Bikini Bottom.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, the Game Boy one's going to be different from the PS2 version, but
right.
Yeah, and there was I think there was a PSP exclusive called the Yellow Avenger.
Yes, I'm looking at it here.
Yeah, I think it was a PSP exclusive.
Whether it's exclusive, I couldn't say, but I do see that here listed as a PSP game.
Yeah, so there's that. Lights, Camera, Pants, kind of a party game. They weren't so good once they started getting onto later generation systems, but there's still a ton of them. But I put Battle for Bikini Bottom because that is the one that is held up as the top SpongeBob game and one of the best licensed things that THQ ever did. And this one, there's a reason this is the one that got remade, and the remake was very, very well received because, like I said, you can tell they put a lot of love into it. They made a few newer games that haven't gotten a chance to play. I don't know if they're going to be any good, but yeah. So it's just a lot of memories here, a lot of nostalgia, but it's also just a great game if you like the collectathon type stuff.
Yeah,
and the nice thing about this one,
gives me like 3D Mario vibes.
Yeah, but the nice thing is that it's not actually too hard to collect all the stuff you need to in the game, so that's pretty nice. And the remake, they also went in and added some extra stuff in the remake that was not in the original game. So I think like some of the boss battles you can replay now and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know SpongeBob is very popular IP. It kind of came out slightly after my time, so I never saw any of it. But
No, I was like,
I know
was
all I know about it is from the memes.
No, I was like the perfect age for SpongeBob, and I could go on autistic rants about SpongeBob all day about how great the first 3 seasons of the first movie were, and how everything is so bad now, and how it actually makes me miss the later seasons that everyone was complaining about back in the day, and so on. But yeah,
how many seasons are there?
Currently 15 seasons and 3 movies. Wow. Yeah, but what's weird is they actually
been going for like 20 years though, so it makes
it's
sense.
been going since 1999, so
oh wow, it's older than I thought it was.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's very old. But yeah, so 15 seasons, 3 movies, but for some reason, they tend to kind of mix the new seasons together. So like I think season 14 hasn't completed airing, but they've already started airing season 15. So
that's odd, but okay.
Yeah, the show is just a complete mess now, and they have spin-offs like the Patrick Star Show, which is awful, and Camp Coral, which is also terrible. And the last movie was also pretty bad. So
if you're a fan of SpongeBob, go back to the classics. Then it sounds like.
Yeah, that is what everybody will tell you.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, and had a great remaster or remake, whatever you want to call it. Okay.
They called it Rehydrated.
Rehydrated.
One of the best things I remember was on Steam. The instead of coming soon or whatever it was, release date. Instead of coming soon, they wrote in parentheses when, and then wrote "I'm ready," which is one of SpongeBob's catchphrases.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he goes, "I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready." So they wrote "when I'm ready." So I just thought that was kind of cute. So
yeah, that makes sense if you're a fan of the franchise. But if you don't, then it's like I don't get it. But all right. What was I just going to say about SpongeBob? Shoot. There was something I was just going to mention, but I forgot. Oh, that's what it was. It was on Game Pass and just recently left, like last month, I think. The rehydrated one that was.
Interesting. So. Well, it's on GOG if you want to buy it there. So
okay.
And it even comes with a soundtrack.
Is that any good? I wouldn't think that music from a SpongeBob game would be too terribly impressive, but I don't know anything about the franchise, so maybe it is known for having good music.
I mean, the music in the show can be kind of memorable, but I mean, I suppose if you have a lot of nostalgia for the game in particular, then it might be worth it. But but I mean, I don't think the soundtrack is. I think it's DLC. I don't think it's particularly expensive, so I mean, not much reason to get it. Not much reason not to get it if the game is on sale.
Yeah, fair enough. That makes sense.
Yep.
So, all right, Ryan. What about you? What's your number 4?
My number 4 is going to be, I guess, something similar to his. It's definitely going to take place on the high seas. I was actually a fan.
You're going to say along the same era or genre of game, like the Powerpuff Girls game.
No.
I don't even know.
I actually played a Powerpuff Girls game once. I don't remember much of it.
Okay, I was like, I'm assuming there probably is one.
Oh, there is.
I would assume yes.
There's a bunch of them here on Retro Cheat.
And look, if you want to laugh at me, I played at least 2 different Bratz games.
Oh, I've seen that IP,
like the Bratz dolls.
Yeah.
Why?
I have a sister.
Okay, well, Powerpuff Girls I get, but I guess I didn't realize that Bratz was that big.
Bratz had games. Barbie had a ton of games back in the day.
Oh, it's Barbie. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, so,
and none of the to be clear, none of the Bratz or Barbie games are on my list. I only just remembered that they even existed.
I definitely know there were Barbie games. I did not know there were Powerpuff Girl games, but that makes sense because that was huge. Bratz, I'm like, I feel like that was kind of like Tickle Me Elmo, like that was almost a one and done. But
I would not have guessed there was Bratz games.
I have no idea if they are, to be honest.
All right, sorry for derailing you again.
No, you're good. I was a big fan of one of the first ones to do it was Lego Star Wars. Now, this is not the one I'm picking, but something in the same genre of I would say SpongeBob would be Lego Pirates of the Caribbean. Yes, that was an
Okay.
actual game. It basically it came out in 2011 and it encompassed all the movies, and I think that was actually a fun license because it took the goofiness of Lego, but also told the story of the movies, and I think it was very well done. Now there have been other licensed products from that. Again, I think Star Wars was the first one. Um,
Oh, the first like licensed Lego game.
yeah, I
I
think
w-
it
I
was the
think it
first.
was Star Wars.
Yeah, it should have been the prequels, and then there was the complete trilogy, and
Yeah, the original trilogy, that was Lego Star Wars 2. And yeah, I think
yeah,
the one that
and
came before that was
the,
the prequels.
the prequels were first, and then there was and they're both PS2, and I think Pirates of the Caribbean came out later. It was actually on Windows, 3DS, DS, PlayStation 3, and PSP, Wii, and Xbox 360 because it was 2011, and it was actually very well received, and it was actually one of the top selling video games of 2011. And again, it's kind of goofy, I get it, but at the same time it tells the story, and you get to basically sword fight and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, Lego movie adaptations of Star Wars, and you have Jurassic World, and you have Pirates of the Caribbean. They're massive sellers.
Mhm.
They're big business, and you can actually get it on Steam still to this day because I do have it on Steam. And so it I love Pirates of the Caribbean. It was a franchise I didn't expect to love. Like, my mom loved Johnny Depp, so we went and saw it, and then of course it was Jerry Bruckheimer and Disney, and it launched something that it was so good. And even the fifth movie, um, On Stranger Tides, was no, not that one. That was the fourth one. Dead Men Tell No Tales. That was the fifth.
Okay.
That
Yeah, it's like
movie.
I've seen them all, but I don't remember
Was
what
Johnny
the
Depp
correct
in the
order of
fifth
them
one?
was.
He is in the fifth one. He's in all of them.
Okay.
The fifth one, On Stranger Tides, had Johnny Depp only and Penelope Cruz. Did not have Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley.
That's
It
right.
wasn't until the fifth one that Orlando Bloom came back, and Keira Knightley, she was like at the last minute because she had a conflict of interest. She was like, I want to be a part of it. So that ending that they had, that was reshot literally probably about a month and a half, 2 months before the movie actually even released. And okay. Yay! Kickbot.
Oh,
Great.
I still get Twitch bots, so it's fine. So anyway, yeah, that was shot like 2 months before the movie, and it was added in post-production. And so Keira Knightley came back, and we had that ending, and that's when Disney was like, okay, let's try to greenlight the sixth and final movie, and that whole Margot Robbie movie was going to be kind of like a fill-in in between, like
uh-oh.
filler, kind of like Rogue One or whatever, something like that. And we still have not gotten the sixth movie to finalize it.
Well, you can thank Amber Heard for that.
Yeah, because she sucks a lot of donkey ass.
Well, I was
Fuck
going to
that
say
raging bag.
she puts out a lot of poo.
Oh yeah, she puts out a lot of shit.
So,
Well,
By the way,
would
Hawkman
you
too,
want?
so.
Am I freezing or are you guys freezing? Oh, I'm.
No,
freezing.
you're freezing.
Yeah, I
That's
think it's
me.
you.
Yeah, I just got a thing. Oops, connection is reconnecting.
Yeah.
I'm
Really
pretty sure I
quick,
know the answer to this, but what the crap?
Okay,
Sorry.
I'll just ask really quick. Ryan, have you played any of the other Pirates of the Caribbean games? Apparently, there's one on Steam right now called At World's End.
No, but I'm gonna find it now.
Yeah, and then there's one by Bethesda that is actually completely unrelated.
What?
Called Curse. Yeah, just called Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't think it's on Steam. It's a sequel to a game called Sea Dogs, and they just rebranded it to be Pirates of the Caribbean, but it's not really.
Oh, there's actually a couple.
Yeah.
So again, Lego Pirates of the Caribbean, the video, and then the Pirates of the Caribbean Tides of War free, and then Disney Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, 1999. I'm gonna add all of these.
1999. Oh, that was
It's
the
20
price.
bucks. It's 20 bucks.
I thought you were saying that was the year. I was
Yeah,
like,
I
wait,
thought so
No,
too.
no,
I'm
no,
like,
no.
that doesn't make sense. It's on the price is
So-
1999.
so
oh,
at-
interesting. Eurocom made this one. I didn't. Eurocom.
At
They made
World's
some of the
End
James
kind
Bond
of
games.
looks like a PS3 game to me. 2007.
Makes sense,
Yeah,
2007.
yep, that would make sense. I'm gonna play the shit out of that. Anyway, again, look, I love me some Pirates of the Caribbean. I want the sixth and final movie with Johnny Depp, Keira Knightley, and Orlando Bloom. And-
what I was trying to say, before my internet was being stupid, was would you want a sixth movie if it was the all female one that was rumored?
Wrong answer.
I had a feeling.
No,
I don't think I ever actually-
nobody's
It
gonna
must have-
watch that.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
must have
Now,
the
if you-
proper.
Ocean's 8. It's
Pirates.
going to be Ocean's 8 if they do that.
Yeah,
Well,
it
hold
needs
on.
to have the proper holy trinity of pirates characters: Orlando Bloom, Keira Knightley, and Johnny Depp.
If you do it right and you do it kind of like Rogue One, and you sprinkle them in, they don't necessarily have to be a massive part of the plot, but you meet new characters and you put in the old characters that we love in the movie to where maybe they're not necessarily at the same places in the same time, and then you make the sixth movie with the new characters and the ones we love all together fighting for basically survival, kind of like at World's End, but like on a grander scale of like Endgame. Dude, that would sell gangbusters. It's not hard, Disney. What the hell are you doing? It's
Yeah.
not hard.
It's not, but they can't get anything right.
I could write this in my sleep.
Yeah,
All
probably
right.
better than a lot of stuff that they put out.
All right,
lately.
rant 2 is over. Sorry.
So,
Why
all right.
why do you make me rant, sir?
Do I make you rant? Yes. I'd be like, Ryan,
Usually
you must
you're
rant.
usually you're the one that rants.
You must rant in order to be on my shows. Otherwise, you can't come on.
I don't think that's the name of shirt.
Really? Because I try my hardest not to go on rants.
So, Rod's saying that Lego Star Wars, literally just called that, came out during the time of episode 3. It was the first Lego game. Oh, yeah, I've got it pulled up here on Retro Achievements. The GameCube version, at least, has a and the PS2 version as well. Both have Retro Achievement sets. It came out October of 2005, so right at a couple months after Revenge of the Sith. So, yeah, the original one was the prequel. So, and dude saying At World's End was on 360. I think I played that one. I know I played a Pirates game on 360 and I got all the achievements, and I don't think I rated it very high. Let's see here. Pirates. It's probably because I didn't include the apostrophe. Oh, no, it's because my filters are screwed up right now because of my dive. Let's see here while I'm figuring that. And he says it's not hard to get Star Wars right either, and we've seen how Disney handled that. Yeah,
Facts.
agreed. Pirates. Oh, I played. Yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. That's when I played back in August of 2007. So, all right, that leaves me for my number 4, and I have a feeling this is probably on Nightmare's list, but probably much higher. So my number 4 is a game that I often talk about, where I think we talked about on a somewhat recent episode of Party Chat, because this franchise of games is something I had to come around on. I wasn't a huge fan of it at the beginning, but it has grown on me. And I do like them a lot, but just not as much as everyone else does. And that is the Arkham games. And of the Arkham games, specifically, Arkham City is my favorite. They're all great games, but City is my favorite. And so I put Arkham City as my number 4. Because this is like the cream of the crop, the pinnacle of how to do a Batman game right. Prior to this, Batman, like Superman, Batman was known for having very bad video games, and the Arkham franchise of games definitely turned that around, and now they're hailed as some of the best superhero games ever.
I heard a lot of good things. I do have them on my Steam list, so I'm not I love Batman, but he's not my favorite. Superman is my favorite, but no, I think Batman has better video games, so I would agree with you, dude.
Yeah, similarly, I'd say that I didn't realize this till just now, but there's kind of a similar correlation between the Arkham games and the Nolan Batman trilogy in that the movies, a lot of the Batman movies were terrible until the Nolan trilogy, just like a lot of the Batman games were terrible until the Arkham trilogy or quadrilogy, if you conclude
Hold up.
Origins.
Wait a minute now.
Well,
Let's talk
I'm not
about
saying all of the Batman movies. I'm saying the recent ones, like Batman and Robin and Batman Forever, are not considered good movies.
Batman Forever. Go fork yourself, sir. That's a great movie.
I've not heard a lot of people speak very highly of it.
I have very autistic opinions on Batman movies, and I don't think there's ever been a single good live action Batman movie. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, if we're gonna be here all night, we're gonna be here all night. If I
do want to talk about that.
Sir, you spit in our face right now. You have spit.
I spit in everyone's face.
I spit into a general direction. I do want to hear about that sometime because I'm very interested to hear because
I would actually too. Yeah.
I like Batman. I think Batman Begins and Dark Knight are both fantastic, and I think like Dark Knight isn't just like a great superhero movie. It's just like a great movie in and of itself. So even if you're not into superheroes, I think you would
see. That's part of the problem. I'm not saying that there aren't good movies with Batman. I'm saying that there aren't good Batman live action movies. There aren't good live action Batman movies. Specifically, the phrase Batman movies.
Oh, okay. I see what you're getting at. Okay,
yeah.
That's fair enough. But anyways, in my opinion, I think a lot of people don't consider. A lot of people love like Batman '89 and I don't even remember the correct order.
Batman Returns.
Batman Returns. I wasn't sure if Batman. Yeah. I was like, I think Batman Returns is next, and then Batman Forever.
But so it was Batman, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, and then of course you had
trilogy,
and then the Nolan trilogy, Batman Begins.
But so I think everyone considers Batman '89 great. I think people consider Batman Forever pretty good. I don't think many people consider Batman Returns pretty good. I don't think a lot of people consider Batman Forever and Batman and Robin good movies. And the most people consider the Nolan trilogy to be pretty good. Most people.
Well, the first two are very well liked. The third one is
that one's definitely more iffy. And similarly, a lot of the Batman games don't have a really great track record until the Arkham games came around. Everyone's like, the Arkham games are fantastic. I don't think there's anybody who really says that the Arkham games are not good. So I'm
sure there's some lunatics out there who only like Souls-likes. They're like, oh, it's not Souls-likes enough. Oh, well, I didn't want a rhythm game. It's a Donkey Kong Bongo Blast.
I'm sure that those people are out there. I just think they're very much in the minority. But yeah, the Arkham games are pretty great. Like I always say, I had to come around on them at first because the thing that annoyed the crap out of me when I first played them is like, I'm freaking Batman. Why does it take me like 17 punches to take out one guy? Like I should be able to take him out in one punch. But once I kind of came to it's the game mechanics of the game. Once I came to understand how the gameplay flowed, it really grew on me. So I really like them. But Arkham City is my favorite of them. But I do enjoy all of them, including Origins. And another thing about the Arkham games, I think each one of the 4 Arkham games does one specific thing better than all of the other 3. But City is my favorite. And I just replayed City for the first time since it came out last year, and it was great. So the Arkham games are great, and the story is great, and you get to really feel like Batman. The combat is great once you get used to it. Got all the cool gadgets. One of the other cool things that was really great about it is you have this. It makes sense for one of my favorite franchises, Metroid. You're constantly losing all your abilities so that you have new stuff to gain. Because if you start out the game with all your gear, it's like, where do you have to go except for down? Where Arkham City, you start with all your gear that you ended with in Arkham Asylum, which was pretty cool. And they did give you new gadgets that you didn't have. So that was another cool thing about it, too. It had a great story. So Arkham City is my number 4.
I think it's kind of cool, though, what you say about the combat. You're Batman. You can't just be punching and taking people out in one shot because Batman's still human after all, right? So you got to get used to the technique because that's really how Batman takes people out, is through his superior fighting technique, not just brute strength.
That's very true. So, hey, Christian Frades is in chat. What's up, Christian? He says Arkhamverse is one of my favorite licensed game franchises. I'm assuming it's probably on Nightmare's list somewhere as well, given his persona. Sadly, the Batman Forever director's cut hasn't been released yet. Batman Forever, no, Batman Forever. That was Schumacher, right? Because he did that one and Batman and Robin.
Yep.
Batman and Robin does not exist.
That was the first Batman movie I ever saw.
Was it really? Ugh. First one I saw was Batman '89, then Batman Returns, and Batman Forever is look, I'm gonna say this right now. You could put a poll on Twitter. Do you love Batman Forever? You are going to get a massive, overwhelming praise for that movie because it has aged well. It has aged better than when it actually came out.
All right.
So, Batman and Robin, no.
My first Batman movie was Batman Begins. So,
okay, yeah.
Really?
So,
how old are you?
Early 30s.
Okay, so I'm the old man here.
Yeah, we've got him by a few years. So,
yeah.
Yeah, so like you were talking about earlier, liking things that are bad, like you said, Paul Blart, Batman and Robin would be for me because that was the first Batman movie, and I like the cheese. I know it's not a good movie, but I do enjoy it because it's got that nostalgia factor. For me.
Is Batman and Robin the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger playing Mr. Freeze?
Yes, and Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy, and they're teaming up for reasons
Actually,
when they have completely diametrically opposed goals.
I want to challenge Nightmare. I want him to actually go back and watch Batman Forever with a fresh look. Not Batman and Robin because just no.
Well, first off, when was the last time you saw Batman Forever, Nightmare?
I don't think I've ever seen Batman Forever. I want to say I saw 89 and Returns a long time ago.
But never saw Forever.
Okay, so look, this is about as fresh as it gets. Go watch Batman Forever. And then the next time that we're on a panel together, we need to talk about it.
Well, you're not going to get me to admit that. Again, you're not going to get me to change my mind on the fact that there are no good live-action Batman.
Oh,
I don't think he's trying to do that.
That's not the point. I just want to see what you think because you're literally about the freshest eyes that could be possibly watch it. I'm going to sneeze.
You got more kick spam, by the way.
Oh,
yeah.
Thanks.
Yay!
To be fair, I have also not seen Batman Forever.
So. Oh, for fuck's sake!
Both
of you go watch it.
I mean, my Mr. Freeze is always going to be Michael Ansara. So,
I'm assuming that's who voiced him in the animated series.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Batman the animated series is incredible.
One of the best.
Which is why my favorite Batman movie is Mask of the Phantasm.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yes.
Knew you were going to say that. So, Christian Frades also says, I love X-Men Legends and Hulk Ultimate Destruction. I've heard so many people say I need to play Ultimate Destruction because I love like Crackdown and like Prototype. And they're like, you got to play Ultimate Destruction. It's very much like that. I'm like, I'm sure if I play it, I will enjoy it. So that's on the
X-Men Legends
at some point.
I think was also made by Raven. I'm pretty sure it was because the mechanics and everything are the same roughly for X-Men Legends.
I've heard that's a good game. I did play an X-Men game, but I don't think it was that one.
Okay, they play very similarly to Marvel Ultimate Alliance. So because it was X-Men Legends, then X-Men Legends 2, and then Marvel Ultimate Alliance came out.
Okay, yeah, I played X-Men the official game, which is based on the
it's a movie tie-in.
It was one of the movie tie-ins, and I don't think it was very good. So, all right, my buddy Rosie says, hot take, Arkham Origins is my favorite of the four. Interesting. But he also loves them all. He's crazy good at them too. So
okay. I don't want to argue with the chat, but Origins is the worst. I still like it. But
he's not saying it's the best. He's just saying it's his favorite.
You seem to have some pretty strong opinions about Batman Nightmare.
I would hope so.
I'm just saying. It seems to be the direction you're going with some strong opinions about Batman. I'm not sure why.
If he didn't have strong opinions,
I can't understand.
Batman, my name is an homage to Batman. It's not a ripoff. It's an homage. It's an homage.
So,
oh look, you got You got a Twitch bot now. Yes, we got the trifecta.
Oh,
The trifecta.
jeez.
And Christian says, I also loved all 3 Marvel Ultimate Alliance games and the Nicktoons Unite series. Also like The Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogie's Revenge. Oh, yeah, we talked about that on Open Mic once. Inspired by Devil
Something
May
tells
Cry.
me Christian may like some of my top 5 / honorable mentions.
All right, I bet he will. So, all right, so yeah, that finished up our number 4s with mine as Arkham City. But yeah, they are all great games, in my opinion. So, all right. So with our number 3s, let's see here. Ryan, you haven't gone first yet. What's your number?
You're
3?
right. I have not. I'm gonna have to lump these all together. I'm gonna go with all the Jurassic Park / Jurassic World games from the franchise. I love Jurassic Park, and it has spawned such a role of Jurassic World. You have a Jurassic World Lego game. You have Jurassic World Evolution, Evolution 2.
Jurassic Park Evolution, those are the like the Zoo Tycoon type games, right?
Yeah, but you basically also at the same time you run a park and stuff like that, and you can actually kind of control the animals a little bit and take their perspective. You had a massive introduction of arcade games, Game Boy games, and so that's why I'm literally trying to. I don't think I can actually lump or pick one specifically.
Okay.
I
I was
think
gonna say if you had to pick one,
if I had to pick one, and this is going to kind of go back to what I previously did, it's going to have to be Lego Jurassic World, and the reason is it encompasses all movies in one. You
okay,
get Jurassic Park and Jurassic World all in one, and you get to play them all together.
real quick. Good night, Pierce. Thanks for hanging out. You have a good one. We'll see you
See ya.
later. So,
So that's
Jurassic-
why
Lego Jurassic World, you said?
Lego Jurassic World, you literally get to play all the games. I'm sorry, all the movies in the game.
Okay, so it's kind of
if
like
they
an
had-
omnibus.
Yeah, it's kind of like an omnibus, and you start out literally Lego Jurassic World in the very first Jurassic Park game, the very first scene with the raptor scene, that most memorable thing that everybody remembers, like going, shoot her, like going, that is one hell of a way to start a movie. That's all I'm gonna say. And I think that's why Jurassic Park is probably one of the most memorable and most iconic movies in the history of ever. So,
Yeah, for sure.
and so again, I know it's campy because it's Lego, but you get all this, you get all the movies. Like, why would you not want to play that? So, as in realism, in my opinion, I think Jurassic World Evolution 1 and 2 are going to be a lot more real, because it's about, raising the animals, and the animals actually have real interactions and stuff like that, as per the movies, per the algorithm of the movies, excuse me. But just based on loving the cinema, I would have to. I love the whole entire franchise, but I'd have to pick a Lego Jurassic World, because you get all the movies,
Okay.
except for the final one, because the final one
It's
was
not out yet.
It was not out yet. Dominion was not out.
Oh, I'm talking
So-
about the one that's coming out like next month.
No, I don't believe that Dominion was out at the time. So you get all 5 movies except for Dominion, the finale.
That makes sense. Okay. Nerdy Hawaiian over on X is saying Jurassic Park Operation Genesis was fantastic. Was that the one that was on Genesis? I think there was one on Genesis that I played at my friend's house.
I think that was the one that was on Genesis and Game Boy, because I think I had it on Game Boy. That game was hard as fuck, by the way, because you would like the raptors, man. You would try to shoot them, and they were fast, and you would miss.
Let's see it. Jurassic Park. Let me look up all the Jurassic Park games. Operation Genesis was on PS2.
Oh, so what the hell is the one that I have on?
On Genesis, I'm seeing Jurassic Park Rampage Edition and just Jurassic Park. It's probably just Jurassic Park.
Maybe it was just Jurassic
Yeah,
Park.
it was a side scroller. It was very different than the SNES version of Jurassic Park, which I had that one, because that one was basically like a top down, except for when you went into buildings and went into first person. It was like a Doom clone with dinosaurs. I hated going inside in that game because it scared the crap out of me. Yeah,
It was just Jurassic Park, and it was by Ocean. God, that
yes.
game was hard.
Yeah, I think that's when I played, because I didn't have a Genesis, my buddy did, so I played that version over his house.
Yeah, you literally had like it was literally like black and white. The T-Rex was like, it was a side scroller. It was a weird top down side scroller. So like you go up, you go this way, that way, but like it would just scroll to the side, and God, it was hard.
So, oh yeah, and Nerdy Hawaiian said it was on PS2 and original Xbox. That makes sense.
Okay.
So, hey, Lois Expectations is here. What's up, Lois? Good evening to you, sir. Nerdy Hawaiian says it was the first Jurassic Park builder with the first 3 movies. Ah, okay. I did not actually pull it up here to take a look at it.
Yeah, I think which one? There was one on
That was
PC too. Jurassic.
Oh, because like that's the one that was on
Park
PS2 and Xbox.
PC.
Yeah, I have to pull up some more information because I do. I'm just using retro achievements to see if it's got retro achievement sets, but it doesn't have any information about it other than it was on PS2. So, and yeah. Oh. So, yeah, maybe the SNES version of Jurassic Park, I never beat it because I never could figure out what the heck to do. But now that it's got, I know I'm playing my old classic games for retro achievements, maybe I'll finally go through and actually beat it for the first time ever. The other thing is you couldn't save and pick up from where you left off. It was always, every time you played, you started from the beginning of the game. So you had to beat it all in one go. So that was another reason why I never beat it.
Jurassic Park the game. There's one. Is it Operation Genesis? Because it's a CD-ROM that I have, and it was kind of like Park Operation. I can't type today.
Trying to figure out which one you had on PC.
Because I bought one of the very unwell known. Nope, it wasn't this one. What the hell? It had a raptor on the front of it on the CD-ROM disc case, and coming out of it is like one of the least known Jurassic Park games. Somebody might know.
Okay. Well, if
I'll
you want
figure it
to
out.
keep digging for it and let us know
Yeah.
once you figure it out. One of the other things I was going to ask you about it, and this actually applies retroactively to your previous one as well, since they're both Lego games, because there was
Trespasser.
Jurassic Park Trespasser.
That is the most least known Jurassic Park game, and is probably one of the least underrated game. Yes, Jurassic Park Trespasser. That's the one I had. The raptor breaking through, like looking like a wood. Yes, that's what I had. Jurassic Park Trespasser. Sorry,
Never heard of it.
Oh,
I have seen this cover before though, but I didn't realize it was for a
Trespasser. Thank you so much, Nerdy Hawaiian.
Shout out to Nerdy Hawaiian for allowing Ryan to figure out what game he was talking about. This came out in '98. Wow.
Yeah. Long time ago, man. Long time ago.
All right. Anyways, the question I was going to ask you is because the early Lego games, they didn't actually speak. It was all just like mumbles and body language. Were Lego Pirates of the Caribbean and Lego Jurassic World, were those during that time, or was this after they become voiced games?
I think that the Lego games are all mumbles, if I remember correctly. It's been a hot minute since I played Jurassic World, and Pirates of the Caribbean was before that. So, but I think they're all mumbles still.
Okay.
If I remember correctly. So don't quote me on that, but I'm almost like 90% positive they're all mumbles still.
Okay.
Yeah, Lego Jurassic World came after Pirates of the Caribbean, because Lego Jurassic World was like, what, 2015, 2016-ish, and Pirates was 2011, but they should still be mumbles. They don't actually physically speak. It's not actual dialogue from the movie.
Yeah, I don't know when they made that transition to
Also,
voice dialogue in the Lego games, but
also shout out to that Lego Jurassic World used recordings from the movies. Okay, all right, then that was the first one. Also shout out to an honorable mention that the King Kong movie from 2005 on the
hey, hold on,
PS2.
we're not on honorable mentions yet.
Sorry.
That may come up on somebody's list here tonight as well, because I know that a lot of
Well,
people
it's
do
on
have-
mine, so I just
Oh, that's right. Because
talking about
I
voice
swear I just talked about this on a stream recently. It might have been on last week's party chat.
I know I missed it. I'm so tired, dude. I was
Oh, that's
literally.
right. You missed party chat.
I know. I was literally asleep, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of right after the stream started. Like I was literally like kind of like, I was like, oh God, I'm gonna have to try to rally, and then I'm like, I don't know. So it's like I feel bad. So
No worries. Maybe it wasn't party chat, but I did talk just recently, within like the last 2 weeks or so, about King Kong, but I don't remember what it was, what stream it was on. So, anyways, all right. Let's see here. So yours was, you kicked us off for our number threes. Nightmare. You want to give us your number three?
Sure.
Blue Fire.
Harry Potter.
This is going to be kind of an unexpected one, but yeah.
Not
so
really. Harry Potter's huge.
It's
Look,
huge.
I don't get it, but
Well,
I mean,
the
hey,
IP
shout
is
out.
huge, but other
Yeah.
than Hogwarts Legacy has had a track record for having good
So
games.
if you're
I have no
Hogwarts
idea.
Legacy is a game that I think transcended the IP because it just got huge
Mhm.
for various reasons. It got huge, and it just became, a whole thing.
I think the
But-
Wii got too much hate. I love the Wii.
Yeah. So specifically,
I was going to ask you. I'm assuming you put the Wii version here for a reason.
yes. So specifically, the Wii version of Order of the Phoenix did sort of what people wanted from Hogwarts Legacy.
Because you got a Wii
First-
as your wand, right?
So more than that. So yes, part of that was it had the Wiimote, and you could wave the Wiimote around like a wand to cast your spells, which I mean that was incredibly cool, especially at the time. And it was something unique to this particular port of the game. Where and I mean, the Wii's motion controls were not great. It was better when you had the Wii Motion Plus, but that wasn't. I don't think that was ever supported in this game. But it was cool. You wave it around, and you had to hold some buttons and stuff too. But it was like holding a wand, and it's disappointing that they never reused that mechanic. Because I mean, especially if you made like a Harry Potter VR game,
Oh,
that
yeah.
would've been- you could use the controller as a wand. But in this specific game, you actually run around Hogwarts Castle as Harry. I think you attend some classes and do stuff, and so it does a lot of the basic elements of Hogwarts Legacy. It did that first, and in this one, you're actually playing as Harry. Which I mean, come on, that's what everyone wanted to do. But Harry Potter did, especially early on, have a lot of really good tie-ins. I think the second and third. So yeah, one, Sorcerer's Stone was not very polished, so that one kind of falls by the wayside. 2 was Chamber of Secrets. 3 is Prisoner of Azkaban. I believe those two, on like GameCube, PS2, they have some pretty popular ports. I never played the fourth one. Well, I had the fourth one on PSP, but it's not very memorable. But the fifth one, for this reason, the free roaming and the casting spells and all that.
And that's what I was going to ask, because I'm not very well familiar with the Harry Potter franchise. This is the fifth one?
Yes. This is number 5. Order of the Phoenix is number 5. And I think it's arguably my favorite book too, just because of some of the whole, like, the themes to it of, well, let's just say it's very libertarian in a sense.
Okay, so it's your favorite book. It's also your favorite of the Harry Potter games. It's also your favorite of the Harry Potter movies.
Maybe. Because the movie, I remember even when I saw the movie, I was like, you cut too much out. Because they cut too
from the
much
book.
out of this one. Yeah. So I was a huge Harry Potter nerd as a kid, even though, and I fully acknowledge there are enough plot holes that it's hard to go back to now. but you know, it's still, it was still great for the time, and it's a good, I like the universe, and it's just, this one especially was a fun game, and I just realized I never showed gameplay.
Oh, you got
So,
gameplay.
yeah.
Okay, because I was going to ask about that, but
yeah, I forgot to show the gameplay. I had it queued up and everything, but yeah, so see, you run around, the Wii version. It's just a cutscene. Let's see if I can skip forward. Umbridge, everybody hated. Blah 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 blah.
was Umbridge, is that the teacher?
Yeah, that's the teacher that everybody hates, who's trying to make everybody not learn proper magic. Blah 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 blah. Is there any actual combat here? Here we go. See, so it's like showing you how to wave the wand around and cast spells.
Okay. Yeah, I can see how that could be pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really, really. I remember being really fun. Unfortunately, my mom was always using the Wii to play Wii Fit, so I never really got to play this that much. But
that's funny. Yeah, I was a big fan of the Wii as well. I got my Wiimote right there. I like the motion controls. One thing that a lot of people said, I didn't, because I played Force Unleashed, but I played it on 360. But everyone said like the Wii version is the best version of that game because of the motion controls.
That makes sense because you can swing the lightsaber around.
Yeah.
So specifically, Harry Potter: Order of the Phoenix here is my number 3, but I will give a sort of honorable coattails-ish to the Harry Potter games in general.
Okay. Did this one have any form of Quidditch in it? Do you know?
Not that I remember. But it's
gameplay looks actually really pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah. This is like I said, it's kind of a prototype for what Hogwarts Legacy did.
And I'm not a big fan of Harry Potter, but I think the games look better than the movies, if you want my honest opinion.
There's an argument to be made there. Yeah.
I never cared for the movies. I mean,
I haven't seen them all.
The first movie came out, I was 16. My sister was 12. So, of course, she was a massive fan. And
wait, I don't think you're that much older than me then. Or are you? When did the first
one came out in 2000?
I remember seeing the first one.
Yeah. No, I was 16 years old because I drove from my job to meet my parents at the theater in the mall, which it's not a theater anymore, but it was the only United Artists theater in town in the mall, and where I saw The Mummy and Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And I drove from my job at Taco Bell, which that Taco Bell is still there to this day.
So yeah, I was like, I think it was 2001. Yep, I looked up.
2001.
The movie came out in November 2001.
Yeah, it also bothered me that they did the whole Philosopher's Stone, Sorcerer's Stone thing, but they did that with the books too. So
I have a Lego Harry Potter collection. Nice.
Sorcerer's Stone has a much better ring to it than Philosopher's Stone.
Why do I like Lego games?
Yeah,
so much fun.
I'll admit that.
What
Harry Potter had a whole Lego release too.
They had a
whole bunch of Lego Harry Potter games.
So, I literally just added that to my wish list.
Nightmare, since you're a fan of the franchise, do you know what the deal was between the different names of the first movie / book?
It's something to do with the publishers thinking that Americans were too stupid or something like that to understand Philosopher's Stone.
I've heard that as well.
There's something around that. Basically, they changed it for the
true or not.
Yeah, they changed it because they're so hoity-toity. They can't understand that Americans with their guns might not be so stupid.
Sorcerer's Stone just sounds better anyways, so.
It does have a better ring to it. I do have to admit that.
It does have a better ring. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
But I believe the Philosopher's Stone is a name from like some legend or something. Like she pulled the name Philosopher's Stone from some like actual legend or from somewhere else. Gotcha. I think.
Okay. Sorcerer's Stone sounds more aggressive, in my opinion. Kind of like it's more like something to be feared, almost maybe evil that you can't control. Philosopher's Stone sounds tame, like, okay,
Yes,
great. Like, I have the knowledge to the universe, like, woohoo.
that's a great way of putting it. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel about it too. So, and Nerdy Hawaiian says
That's right, J.K. Rowling, suck it.
the Wii
You
was
picked
fun,
right, even though you're wrong. Like,
and the multiplayer.
Oh yeah, there we go.
was
It's
fun.
because this was based on like ancient alchemy, which I mean, alchemy is basically pseudoscience, but they were trying to in the olden times, the alchemists were trying to make something that would have been called the Philosopher's Stone, which would be able to transmute cheap metals into gold, and so that's where she pulled the name from.
Okay.
But the publisher decided that philosopher would turn off American readers as being too esoteric or intellectual sounding. The decision was made to change the title to Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone to appeal to an American audience.
Yeah.
well, son of a
I think
bitch,
they
they
made
made
the
$1
right
billion. They were right. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, it sold pretty well in Britain too. So
Yeah. I'm
oh, I
sure.
know. Like, if you were probably actually to talk to an actual Brit, look, I know several British people through YouTube and stuff like that, and even real world. If you were to go Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, have you heard of that? Most of them will probably go, no, it's Sorcerer's Stone, right? Like, because they're just as stupid as we are now in today's generation. Because
well, they think beans on toast is a delicacy.
okay, well, I want to go. I want to go to Britain. I want to try beans on toast. Okay, I got to try it for myself. Okay, like.
I'll be there for a few hours next week.
Well, then try beans on
Nice.
toast. You
We'll
can probably
see.
get it at the airport, by the way. Where are you flying into?
I have a layover in London.
So
Yeah.
it's
Make sure you try some spotted dick while you're there.
So it's Heathrow.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's
You're
Heathrow.
at Heathrow. Yeah, you can probably get beans on toast.
Unironically, I remember so in the Harry Potter books, I forget which book, but when they're having one of their feasts, I think it's Ron who gets all excited about one of the food about the food, and he points out, "Look, spotted dick." And I remember all the kids in my class who could read it. I won't get into how smart the kids in my class were, but the kids in my class who could read, they were all pointing at that line and laughing. Ah, spotted dick. So maybe the publishers had a point.
Oh no, they definitely had a point.
When you said all the kids in my class that could read, reminds me of that King of the Hill meme where he's holding the sign up to the window and he's like, Bobby, if those kids would read, they'd be very upset with you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things too. It's like going, oh yeah, I had a great banger the other day. Everybody going, well, you had a what?
Bangers and mash.
Bangers and mash, dude. It's sausage.
I didn't know what that was until just.
You didn't know what a banger is?
There's a whole I want to say it was the Lotus Eaters podcast. There's a whole video they posted of them trying British foods with like very offensive names. And if you can find it, I suggest just looking it up and seeing which foods actually look appetizing. I don't think any of them actually did, but because they're British.
One day,
if you send me the link to that, maybe I'll take a look.
One day for my History Channel, I will start traveling the world and displaying all the sites, all the foods, and I will try them all. I'm one of those people. I used to be extremely picky about my food, but now I'm kind of to the point. I'm like going, oh, you know what? I'll try anything pretty much once. It has to be really grotesque for me not to do it. Like bugs is not on the list.
Yeah.
Like there's some places that like in the world they're like going, oh yeah, bugs. I'm like going, no bugs.
I'm pretty picky, so I'm not all. A lot of things
I'm very
okay
picky.
Not trying.
Yeah, I also have like dietary restrictions and stuff for a couple of reasons, but yeah, I've always been very picky on top. I've always been very, very picky on top of that. But now that I'm a grown up, I think I get to say I'm not picky. I have discriminating tastes. That sounds better.
Make it sound more fancy.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but yeah, Nerdy Hawaiian earlier said that the Wii was fun and the multiplayer was fun. Yeah,
agreed.
Although
I forget if the Wii had multiplayer.
Assuming
we had multiplayer for this
talking
game.
Specifically about this game, I think, or whether you're talking about just Wii in general, because I didn't play a whole lot of Wii multiplayer games, with the exception of Smash Brawl. I played a lot of that in multiplayer.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, I did too.
Yeah, Smash
Um,
Brothers, but I bought my Wii for Zelda
Mm, Twilight
two
Twilight
Princess.
Princess.
Twilight Princess, and then Mario Galaxy, and
Okay.
then of course when
And
the
Metroid Prime
Nintendo
3.
store and stuff like that, you could actually get the previous games, like Super Mario Brothers, like Super Mario 3. That was like really awesome. So
Yeah. I speaking of Brawl, I installed a mod, and I think I still have it in my emulator, called Brawl Minus, that makes a bunch of changes, but most importantly, it adds Waluigi to the game, which makes me very happy.
Waluigi.
I did figure out how to mod or Brawl. You had to download a file, put it on a flash drive, and stick it into the Wii. And then when you booted it up, it booted into a slightly altered version.
Yeah, you had to download like a DOL file or an ELF, one of those. They were
It
like
wasn't called
specific
Brawl
executable.
Minus, though. It was something
There,
else.
there are a bunch of
Oh,
them.
it was like Project M or something like
Project
that.
M. Yep, that's another one. That's another
That
one. Of
I
those
did try that
rebalanced
one. I
mods.
didn't like it because I was a big fan of Ganondorf, and I thought they ruined Ganondorf with that tweak, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, but with what Nerdy Hawaiian was saying, I don't remember if the Wii version of this game had multiplayer. I know I also had the PSP version. That one did have multiplayer. But, obviously it had crappier graphics and no motion controls and all that. But, the PSP, I mean, for its time, it was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, Harry Potter
All
Order
right.
of the Phoenix Wii, and everything that all the other Harry Potter stuff that goes along with it, I guess.
Yeah. Cool. All right. As for myself, for my number 3, I think a lot of diehard purists aren't fans of this game because of the changes they made to the lore. But I love there were 2 games, and I like the first one a bit better, and I played it more times than I played the second one. I've never actually finished the second one, but that is the Lord of the Rings Shadow of Mordor. I know a lot of people don't like what they did with the lore, but I love the gameplay of those games. Shadow of War was great, but I still have yet to finish it. I still have like 4 or 5 achievements left, but I've 100%ed Shadow of Mordor twice, and I have a third stack to do because there was 2 versions on original Xbox. There was the original release plus all the DLC. Then they released a Game of the Year edition with all the DLC included. I 100% of both of those, and I bought the 360 version before the 360 store closed. And I'll be playing through that one again because I love Shadow of Mordor a lot. It took, basically has the Arkham combat. Also feels very inspired by the stealth of like Assassin's Creed, which I do like the Assassin's Creed games as well. You got cool powers taking over. I do like the in Shadow of War how they expanded upon the Nemesis system. You build your armies, so that was better in that one. But I just liked basically everything else in Shadow of Mordor better. Because in Shadow of War, when you get later in the game, there's so many, like some of these top tier orcs have so many resistances. It's just a pain in the butt to be able to defeat them. So that's like the main reason why I like the first one better. But they are both fun games. They got some great gameplay. Say what you will about the lore. I have read the Lord of the Rings books, but I'm not like a Lord of the Rings purist. I do love the Lord of the Rings trilogy of movies, and in my opinion, it's the best movie trilogy ever made. Not my favorite, but I do think it is the best. But I just had so much fun playing the Shadow of Mordor games, and I played them because my buddy Rozik in chat, he gave them to me for my birthday a number of years ago. They weren't even like I knew of them, but I had like no real like interest in them. But he gave them to me for my birthday, and I ended up playing them and fell in love with them. So shout out to Rozik for giving me the Shadow of Mordor / War games. And I love Shadow of War or Shadow of Mordor. Cool powers, and had the open world thing going for it. And being able to take over orcs, that was a cool mechanic. Probably the biggest gripe about Shadow of Mordor is very similar to Mass Effect 3 in that basically everything up to the very end of the game, the last like 10-15 minutes of the game is kind of disappointing, but everything else other than that is freaking great, and I love it. So
did you say you're a Lord of the Rings fan?
I like it. I've
Okay.
read the books and I've seen, I've liked the movies, but I'm not like a diehard purist about it.
Okay. Okay. So you were, I guess, into the series before you played the game, at least.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
I'm a diehard fan.
Fair
Have
enough.
you played the Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War games?
Me? No. I played.
I know a lot of people love the movie tie-in games. I
Yes, I
never played
played the.
those. I heard those were
I
good.
played the movie tie-in game. So you had Two Towers and then the Return of the King. Those are the ones I did play. I
I
have
played the
not
demo
played
of
the
Return of the King,
offshoots.
but that was it.
Now, the reason I did not play the offshoots, at the time, and I played Two Towers when I was a kid, technically. But I bought them later on because I didn't actually like Lord of the Rings, the movies when I was actually a kid. It took me a hot minute when I got older. Then I was like, "This is shit! Holy crap! Are you serious?" And that's why I've been told that I need to, go back and like rewatch the Harry Potter movies because again, I was a kid, so it is on my list. But yes, no, I am a massive Lord of the Rings fan, huge fan. I went from being 16 in high school and stuff like that. I didn't care. And to all of a sudden, like, I love them. And Rings of Power is ass.
Oh, we don't talk about that.
Ass on a fucking cracker.
We don't talk about
So,
that. It doesn't exist.
no,
Just
no,
like the Halo show doesn't exist.
yeah, no. And so that's what like what one of the reasons that I've actually listened to people. I need to go back and rewatch the Harry Potter movies because I only saw a couple of them. And I was like, ugh. And now that I'm older, I need to like rewatch them.
I
because
never
it's
like thought they were bad. I just really had no interest in them, so I haven't watched the Harry
With
Potter.
Harry
but
Potter, the books are way better than the movies. I'm going to be that guy. The books are way better than the movies. The books have plot holes in them too, but they're
Yeah,
still way
no,
better
they're
than the movies.
they're definitely a lot better. I would agree with you. And I did read the books when I was younger too, in high school, but I didn't even appreciate that. I was just like, I don't care.
yeah,
By
Lord of
the
the Rings, I
way,
didn't know like anything about it. I got dragged to it
yeah.
because I had a bunch of friends who were fans of the books, and so when the movies came out, they're like, "Hey, you gotta come see Lord of the Rings with us." And I'm really glad that they dragged me along.
Yeah, I've actually not played the Shadow of War Mordor games, and I've never got into Lord of the Rings, so because it's just not my.
It's
I'm
got
just
a
not into
very
like.
similar combat style to Arkham, so if you like the
Yeah,
Arkham
see,
games, you'll probably
people
like them.
keep recommending it for that reason, but I'm not into like the medieval fantasy setting, so Lord of the Rings has just never been for me.
Fair enough.
Also, I hear that there's something called the Nemesis system, which I don't fully remember what it is in the game, but I hear that Warner Brothers patented it
They did.
and
They
never put it
patented
in
or
another game.
trademarked or something, and yeah, they've
Yeah,
never done
patented.
anything with it.
Yeah,
Uh,
patented. Yeah,
it was going to be in the Wonder Woman game that just recently got canceled.
yeah, that was never going to go anywhere.
We actually talked about this on a party chat episode not that long ago when we talked about games we would like to see use the Nemesis system.
Interesting. Yeah, it's really scummy when companies do that when they patent things that really shouldn't be patented, or at
Yeah,
least
a
like,
game mechanic. It's like, are you freaking kidding me? That's garbage. And then you
or
don't
at the
do
very
anything
least
with it.
they don't do anything with it, and they don't like license it at least even reasonably to anyone
License
else
it
so they
out.
can use it.
It's
Yeah,
garbage.
what was the Nemesis system though? Because
So the Nemesis system in Shadow of Mordor, that's the first one, is that whenever you died, you be revived in it makes sense in the lore of the game because you're like possessed by the spirit of an elf that like keeps you alive so that you guys work together in order to achieve a common goal. But every time you get killed, the orc that kills you gets power-ups and stuff, and when you encounter them again, they'll remember it and they'll be like, oh, I killed, I remember killing you last time, you're not going to survive again. And if they kill you again, then they rank up again, and every time any orc kills you, they rank up in the ranks of all the orcs. And they took that and like cranked it up to 11 in Shadow of War, because not only is in Shadow of Mordor, you basically just have like 3 rows of orcs, and you can go and check it. It's been a while since I played it, but I'm pretty sure you can go and check at any time and see, all the ones that have killed you. And then, once you get your revenge and kill the one that killed you, then another one takes their place. So it's basically like a ranking, a hierarchy in their, in their military sort of, so to speak.
I will bet that the most upset people about this not being available to other companies are fans of Souls-likes, because that just sounds like the perfectly frustrating mechanic to add to a Souls-like.
You know what? I think, Dude, when we talked about games that you would like to use the Nemesis system, I think Dude said that he would like to see it in a Souls game. So
yeah,
I don't know if he was on the panel for that one or whether he was just in chat, but I remember I'm pretty sure it was Dude saying, suggesting the Souls games.
Yeah, because I can imagine it would be perfect for people who enjoy people who are, well,
the masochism.
I think it would be
like,
perfect.
Oh, you died to me, and now I'm going to get even stronger. It's going to be even harder next time. It's like, heck no, I'm not going to play that.
Yeah, people who enjoy torture.
Yeah, and that's basically exactly what he said, if I remember correctly. But yeah, on Shadow of War, they took that one step further, because in Shadow of Mordor, you can possess, I think, with the spirit of the elf that is working with you and kind of resides in your body.
I think we lost you.
Yeah, we lost you, dude. You all right?
I think his internet's crapping out.
There it is.
The internet. What? I've not had.
What are you on Comcast?
I am on Comcast. I rage about them often, but I haven't had to in a
He
couple
said,
months.
"What are you on Comcast?" And he's like, "Yes, I am."
This is
Neo is not even the first person I've heard complain about Comcast today.
They're freaking terrible. Yeah. But lately, it's been great. They came out and did some work in my area a few months ago, and this is literally the first time I've had an internet issue in probably 2 or 3 months. It's been nice. Anyways, what I was trying to say is that in Shadow of War, they cranked it up to 11, because in Shadow of Mordor, you can possess like one at a time. But in Shadow of War, you can possess like entire armies, and then you build up your armies, and the Nemesis system works for you as well, and you level up your orcs, and you take your armies against other orc armies, and you set up a stronghold, and you have to defend yours against attacking armies of orcs, and then you go on the attack and try to take over their stronghold as well. And that's actually the epilogue of the game. After you beat the story, there's the Shadow Wars. That's one of the achievements I haven't done yet, because it's just kind of time consuming. You have to go and take over all like 5 or 6 other strongholds in the area, and it's a multi-stage process for each one, and if you lose, you have to start all over again. So it can be a real pain in the butt, but the concept is really cool. So that's the thing that I do like about Shadow of War, is you have your entire armies, not just like possessing single orcs.
Nice.
But yeah, so fun games. I love them. I'm looking forward to playing through it again for a third time, because I love Shadow of Mordor, and that's why it's my number 3. So Lowest Expectation says that he only played the Battle for Middle Earth RTS. I do know of that game, but I never played it because I was not huge into RTSs. But he only played it at a friend's house and never owned or beat it. So, all right. Cool. All right. Well, that will bring us into our number 2s. So, let's see here. I think I'll go ahead and kick off our number 2s. So, my number 2 here is the one on my list that is a Metroidvania as well. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, are there any other licensed games that are Metroidvanias? There might be, but I couldn't think of any off the top of my head other than this one.
I think Arkham Asylum is sometimes considered a Metroidvania.
Yes, Arkham Asylum is absolutely a Metroidvania. Sorry, thank you for bringing that up. I meant as a 2D Metroidvania. So
gotcha.
That's what. There are a lot more 2D than there are 3Ds, and that's one thing I often rant about: is we need more 3D Metroidvanias, and we need more first-person 3D Metroidvanias. But of the 2D Metroidvanias is what I meant to say without actually saying it. I could not think of any other licensed Metroidvanias. But anyways, when we did first episode of Top 5 was on Metroidvanias, this was also in my list of Top 5 Metroidvanias. I freaking love this game. I went back and I played it again about a year ago. I should go back through and play it again, because it's not very long. It's about 6 to 8 hours, I'd say. So it's not terribly long, and it's a lot of fun. It looks and plays a lot like Super Metroid. It's very fluid. It has a great soundtrack. And it's one of those few games where it's far superior than the movie it was based on, and that is The Mummy Demastered. So people often rag on because we've actually even talked about The Mummy before on Top 5, but the Mummy movies with like Brendan Fraser are great, but the Mummy movie with Tom Cruise, most people say it's terrible. I didn't think it was that bad, but I didn't think it was
terrible.
Anything to write home about either.
I mean, I kind of get why people wouldn't like. I'm not into the series at all, but I kind of get why people wouldn't like it if like they were huge fans of the first, was it like 2 Mummy movies with Brendan Fraser?
He wasn't all 3 of them, but I don't think
3?
The third one
Okay.
with Jet Li was considered to be very good. But I think people would probably still take that one over the Tom Cruise Mummy.
Yeah, so like if you're a big fan, I think you wouldn't really be happy if they rebooted it in the same way that I was very unhappy when they rebooted Spider-Man the first time, and we lost Tobey Maguire and they replaced him with Andrew Garfield. So it's probably kind of like that.
Wait a minute.
I
No
like
Way
Andrew
Home was
Garfield.
Great. And that
Ryan,
was
before we get into these rants, let's just get to my number 2, and then we'll rant all we want.
Fair
just
enough.
let's
He's
just
like,
let's just do that because believe me.
So
we'll have plenty of time.
So
come on, Kickbots.
So to further your point, because the first 3, the Brendan Fraser mummies all have a sense of campiness about them, whereas the Tom Cruise one is very played off as very
serious,
very serious. Yeah, it's not campy, not fun. So I can definitely understand that too. If you're like, this is a completely different tone and style than the first 3. But as a movie, I didn't think it was that bad. But all that to say is The Mummy Demastered it has very little connection to the movie. It's not like a movie tie-in. It's just in the same universe as the Tom Cruise Mummy movie, and it is far superior to the movie it's based on. It is great, and it's a like a pixel art, really great pixel art. It's like 16-bit. It looks and like I said, it looks and plays a lot like Super Metroid, and it's got great music. It's got great upgrades. It's a lot of fun. It's pretty short and to the point. You're a soldier. Oh, James was actually just talking about this on Steam Roulette the other night.
I think James played The Mummy Demastered on Switch Roulette.
Oh, that's right. He did. He rolled it when I was away, and I was catching up on it after the fact. So yeah, it was on Switch Roulette the other night, and he was talking about it as well because it's a great game, and I do recommend it. And it's a lot of fun. The one thing that in most games I take a point off for it is that when you die, you have to go back to the point you died in order to get your gear back because but in this game, it's not that bad. So how the mechanic works is in this game, you play as basically a nameless soldier trying to traverse through this, labyrinth maze of, different buildings and areas and stuff. And the main protagonist or antagonist throughout the movie is the mummy from the Mummy movie. And the guy who's kind of play your boss is Russell Crowe's character, who I think was Dr. Jekyll / Mr. Hyde. He's the one who's kind of telling you what to do. So that's really the only tie to the movie. But you're like this nameless soldier, and every time you die, you don't actually like come back as that same guy. You're a new soldier that gets dropped off, and you have to go and recover the equipment that the previous soldier dropped and continue on his quest, essentially. So it's kind of a cool mechanic. But typically in Metroidvanias, a lot of Metroidvanias do that, where you drop all your gear, you have to go back, and if you die, then you lose it all permanently. I hate that mechanic in so many games, but in this one, it's not too bad. I didn't mind it. But yeah, a lot of cool guns, a lot of great upgrades. It's got great music, and it's a lot of fun, and I highly recommend it. And like I said, it's also in when we did top 5 Metroidvanias, it's in my top 5 list because it's a great game. So Mummy Demastered, if you haven't played it, I definitely recommend it. But neither of you sounds like you've probably played it, so you probably wouldn't be able to say a whole lot about it.
Yeah, I haven't
No,
played it.
I didn't even know it was a game, to be honest with you. And I was giving you a lot of shit, by the way. But no, I had no idea.
Yeah, and I had heard from many places before I had actually played it that it's one of those like hidden gems essentially, because movie tie-in games usually have a very poor reputation, and the few like reviews I'd heard about it, they're like, this is a surprisingly good game. So, and then I played it and I fell in love with it as well. So I'm glad that it exists and that I played it. So. But yeah, all right. So it sounds like we're going to get into a bit of a tangent here with Nightmares number 2. So why don't you go ahead
Actually,
and tell us?
would you mind if Ryan goes
Right.
first? There's just something really
Absolutely.
cool I want to grab first.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
that I
no.
just
I'll go
thought of.
first.
All right, Ryan, what's your number 2?
So my number 2 is Captain America Super Soldier.
Ah,
It is an official licensed Marvel game.
Is this a tie-in to the first movie?
It is a tie-in to the first movie, yes. And it
Thought
is
so, yeah.
where we actually get the shield mechanics.
I knew you were going
in
to
the
say that. 'Cause you
sec-
mentioned that
yeah.
a couple times on Party
Yeah,
Chat.
it is where we get the shield mechanics into the second movie and beyond. So where the shield, the vibranium, it bounces off like one bad guy, boom, 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 and without that video game, that would have never been in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. And so I think that it's an absolutely fun game. It really is. It takes place during World War II, and it's just a lot of fun. It just flat out. I can't say anything better than it. It is literally it's a third person game from 2011, and of course you have it from PS3, Wii, the Xbox 360, and I of course have it on the PlayStation 3, where I first got it.
Published by
But
Sega.
yes, it was. Yes, it was. And
I remember that game coming out, but I never actually played it because like I wrote it off
yeah,
as
and
another crappy movie tie-in game.
I think it was the first one, and then we got Iron Man.
I played the
Because-
demo of that because Iron Man was
No,
one
no,
of my
no,
favorite, but it
no.
wasn't
So
very
they
good.
came out. So Ryan, they came out roughly, I believe, when the movies came out. Iron Man 1 came out in 2008. Captain America
Did it?
came out
Okay.
in 2010.
Okay. And
Yep.
then there was and there was also a
Iron
Thor
Man
game.
2 came out in 2010, which might have been like
That's
I don't know like exactly when, but that might be what you're thinking of.
probably.
Because the way I remember it, we had Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Ultimate Destruction. I think Captain America, Iron Man 2, and then Thor.
I don't think they were all tied together though, because from what I understand, Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor, they were all tied together into the same franchise under Sega. They made after the movies I think debuted. So it was literally
I know Sega
Iron Man,
made the first.
Sega.
I could be
Iron Man
wrong, but
games.
this is from my memory
I'm-
and me researching the games.
I'm looking it up right now. So Iron Man,
Whoa,
Iron
whoa,
Man
whoa, whoa.
2, Hulk, and,
Hold
Incredible
on,
Hulk
real
and
quick.
God of Thunder were all Sega published.
Hold on, Nightmare might like this. Captain America Super Soldier combines the combat system inspired by Batman the Arkham series with platforming elements. That's awesome.
It would make sense that they wanted to copy that because Asylum came out in 2009.
That I
So-
did not know. And that makes me want to
Yeah.
play those games even more because again, the Arkham series is on my Steam list to play. But I massive fan of Captain America. And so that's really
It's-
awesome.
So yeah, all of those, the 2 Iron Man games, Hulk, Thor, and Captain America, they were all published by Sega. And of all of those games, at least on True Achievements, the user score out of 5 is all for all of them is like less than a 2.5, which not very good, except for Captain America. It's got almost a 3.5. So it's by far the best rated one out of all of those.
Yeah, but I mean, I think
I
these are
also
a lot-
have to push back just a tiny bit on something you said earlier about the shield mechanic. We've talked about this.
Mhm.
The shield bounce mechanic that's been used. It might have been the reason that they put it in the movies specifically, but I know that's like made an appearance multiple times before. Like in Marvel Ultimate Alliance, he uses that move like right at the beginning.
But in the same way, though,
Probably. I haven't seen exactly what you're doing, but yeah, where it like bounces off villains and stuff like that.
I mean, it bounces off villains, but does it bounce off like one guy off the wall, then hits one guy, and then hits another guy, and then the wall, and then like
Yep. I think that's actually his extreme attack.
Okay. Don't take this the wrong way, but as somebody who's a massive fan of the MC, well, the Infinity Saga, I would love to see that, and that's not because I'm pushing back against you. I would love to play those games if that actually is true.
Oh yeah, just look up the open. I think it's the opening cutscene of Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Okay, Marvel. I will actually Marvel Ultimate. It's not a video, right? Because if you give me a video, I'm gonna. It's actual gameplay.
No, it's a video. It's the FMV cutscene at the beginning of the game.
But it's not gameplay.
No, it is. There is a gameplay move, but it's probably going to be hard to find a visual.
Okay, because this was actual gameplay throughout the whole entire game. Opening scene. Look again. We don't need to. Anyway, that's mine. So
don't worry, we have more autism when we get to me. So yeah, I hear you.
I know I autism a lot especially when it comes to Captain America. Like,
so maybe I'll have to go track down that and maybe give that game a shot.
I need to track down the other 3 games. I didn't know there was an Iron Man 2. So I knew there was 1 Thor and then there's 2.
Yeah, I knew the Captain America game existed as well as those other ones, but I thought that they were all not good games. But it looks like the Captain America one is actually not bad.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, you'll see a little more in my honorable mentions, but yeah, I had a similar thought. I didn't realize that the non-Iron Man ones were any good.
Yeah, me neither. So, all right. Yeah, I don't have anything else about Captain America game. So I guess Nightmare will go to you for your number 2.
All right, I think I'm ready now. There's just so much cool stuff with this one that I wanted to find because. Wait, let me just show you. So this shouldn't be a surprise.
Spider-Man. This was also on your last top 5, if I remember correctly.
I mean, come on now.
Yeah, it might have been Spider-Man. So specifically Spider-Man 2, the good one, the
Spider-Man
real one.
3 PSP was your number 1 on top 5 on the last episode of top 5.
Yeah, that might have been what it was. Yeah, so in this case, it's Spider-Man 2. So there are a few versions. There are actually a lot of versions of this game too. But I'm specifically going the GameCube, PS2, Xbox version, which is the famous, free roaming, swinging all around the city one. The very first open world Spider-Man game that let you swing around the city and do just about everything based on the second movie. It is also the very first game I ever streamed on my channel very recently. So when I show you guys gameplay,
right. Yeah, and you just streamed it recently too. It wasn't like a long time ago.
Also,
yeah, it was just
probably the best Spider-Man movie in history.
I still say it's the first one. I love the first one so much.
I love the first one too. Nostalgia reasons, absolutely. But I think categorically, I think 2 is probably better.
I don't know. Well, I also love a good origin story. So.
Oh, I do too, and that's why the first one is like incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I still love the second one very, very much.
Especially
it's very close,
when he saves MJ for the first time, like literally, that parade or whatever, like and he,
the World Unity Festival.
Yeah, and Harry Osborn throws the thing.
I haven't seen those movies in
Norman Osborn. Thank you. Throws the thing and then like she falls and he just dives and he catches her literally like 3 feet from the ground. That's so good.
Yeah. These movies were like forever. These movies are my childhood. So
they're mine too.
Yeah, they are. I just love them so much. As soon as my dad made the mistake of taking me and my at the time best friend, actually it was both our dads. But as soon as they made the mistake of taking us to see this movie, my life was forever changed, and I was forever meant to be a nerd for the rest of my life.
Yep.
So
it's why I still go watch and it's why I still go watch superhero movies and even like Mission Impossible with my dad to this day because he took us to see the original Spider-Man. So that's where my love of superheroes started.
Yeah, no. So this was Spider-Man 1 was also Stan Lee's favorite Marvel movie because
really? I didn't know that.
And the reason that he, at least one of the reasons that he gave, was that it was the reason that all the other movies followed. So because Spider-Man 1 was such a massive success, it allowed for all the other Marvel movies to come after, because they were kind of building on the success of this one, these movies. Because before that, you had like X-Men, which I know people like, but it wasn't like a very accurate. Like, they refused to use the costumes for one thing. You had Blade,
it was
which
good. It wasn't great.
Yeah, you had Blade, which is very hit or miss.
I didn't even know Blade was a Marvel property until a couple of years ago.
Well, Blade
It
is
doesn't
actually
feel like a Marvel property.
Exactly. Like, it's so mature and everything that it just was never going to have the same like wide audience appeal that Spider-Man would.
Wesley Snipes' Blade is actually what saved Marvel. It was in bankruptcy. They were filing for bankruptcy until Blade happened. So Wesley Snipes, and I'm gonna say this from Deadpool. There's only ever been one Blade. There's only ever going to be one Blade, and that's why I think literally not just because of the development hell. I think Marvel is like going, okay, we have to bring in Wesley Snipes because that was a huge hit. So, and again, that's my tangent over. Sorry.
Yeah, there's something to that. I think there was a Daredevil. Yeah, there was a Daredevil movie. I forget exactly when that came out, but that wasn't exactly the
Ben
best
Affleck.
received.
The Ben
either.
Affleck one,
the Affleck one with the Black Kingpin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Michael Clark Duncan.
And the weird bullseye with the head tattoo thing.
Will Ferrell.
Colin Farrell.
Yes, thank you. I was like, wait a minute.
Will Ferrell's a very different guy.
I was like, wait a minute, that didn't sound right in my head. I was like, wrong Ferrell.
Yeah.
Like,
but
that would be funny though if you just saw like a YouTube sketch of like Will Ferrell as Bullseye.
Yeah, but yeah. So with Spider-Man 2, they built on top of what was already a very massive movie with and the first game is also pretty decent for like a level based beat 'em up type of game.
Yeah,
there's a lot of love in there.
I told the open world one. I was like, because I did play the first one, but it was so long ago. I was like, if that's true, that must mean the first one was level based and not an open world.
Yeah, and Treyarch made these games, so Treyarch put a lot of love into the first game. Like I said, there was that whole story with the voice acting being the reason that they made the whole Green Goblin mode, playable Green Goblin mode in the first game.
Right, you mentioned that last time.
Yeah, and so then they made 2, which was open world, and in my opinion, 2 is the template, so to speak, for basically superhero games after that. I say Spider-Man 2 walked so like Arkham could fly, because this, in my opinion, is the first superhero game that really tried to build a game around the character rather than stick a character into just like a generic game. They really went all in. And so what I'm showing now, it might be a little hard to read, but this is the issue of Game Informer that showed the first preview of the Spider-Man 2 game. So you can see like the costume still kind of looks like it did in the first game. But this was talking about how Spider-Man could swing around and drop to the ground here. Showing in the top right here. So actually, yeah. So it's Spider-Man looks over his kingdom, leaps over the edge of the building, hurtling towards the pavement before grabbing a pole, launching out, dropping down to street level to strike the same defiant pose. So basically, it's like you can actually do this in the game if you time it right. But yeah, so it's showing him going on the ground, which you could never do in a Spider-Man game before. They never let you like just run around on the ground.
Yeah, you're usually like up at the tops of buildings, and then there's like a haze below you, and you can't see the ground.
So on the Nintendo, the Neversoft games had the haze, and then Spider-Man 1, they actually showed like a flat ground, but you still couldn't go. Like if you fell to the ground, you just die.
Oh, so, that too, yeah.
Yeah, it's giving you all this, all these previews, and I remember this because like before the game and movie even came out, I remember seeing this specific like magazine preview somewhere, and I just am so nostalgic just about this, just because it turned out to be so good. And I remember I was like begging my dad to buy me the game after we saw the movie. And one other thing I wanted to point out before I show some gameplay. So this is an issue of Game Pro. So right here, what I talk about, right here at the end. So if you can see
Oh, you know what?
this,
I didn't realize I don't think I've ever done this before. I didn't realize
So-
you could do this. That helps.
yeah. So if you can see this, the purple section here where it says Spidey
I didn't know you could do
GTA.
that.
I didn't either.
Yeah, so he's just highlighting me. Oh yeah, and you can see the little Mysterio gameplay on the upper right there. But the game director of at Treyarch at the time, so this is back when Treyarch made. So when Treyarch really cared about what they were making and when they were making these amazing Spider-Man games, so I guess the creative director at Treyarch was a Japanese guy, Tomo Moriwaki. So what he's saying here is, basically they asked him, because people, as soon as they heard open world Spider-Man, they were saying, "Oh, Spider-Man Grand Theft Auto," and they're asking him about, is this going to be like a Grand Theft Auto Spider-Man? And what the creative director is saying is, I disagree, but I kind of get it, because that's not really what they're doing. It's not GTA. It's a reasonable comparison, but they're specifically not. They were not making Grand Theft Auto Spider-Man. They were making a Spider-Man game, but it just so happens that there would be some parallels with Grand Theft Auto because it's open-ended and non-linear. So what he's saying is, and the producer of the game. Okay, so what Moriwaki said is, well, we're not quite doing that. We don't want to be associated with running people over and stuff like that. As a game, at a fundamental level, it's totally different, but in a structural way, it's very similar. And then below that, the game's senior producer was saying, sure, if they understand what that statement really means, when people hear Spidey GTA, they think immediately that it's GTA with Spidey grafted on, which is kind of what I was talking about earlier.
Right.
That a lot of games would do, where they just grafted on a superhero into some other generic type of game. But what he's saying is, what it really would be is that it's Spider-Man, and the Grand Theft Auto side is an open-ended environment, the non-linear stuff. So it really is Spider-Man in Manhattan, how you would envision Spider-Man, but it's just not, but like it's not an unreasonable comparison, but it's still a very, very different game.
Right.
And it's its own thing. So they really, really built Spider-Man 2 from the ground up around Spider-Man, which is what I think, even if it wasn't like conscious, that is what I think then the Arkham games went on to do for Batman, which is really think about, who is this character? Who is this character? Who is the superhero? What are his abilities? And here I'll show you some gameplay. This is actually my gameplay you're looking at. But who is the superhero? What are his abilities? What can he do? And then how do we actually make these abilities work in a game? And how do we make it fun and not, okay, what's the best type of game to throw this character into? Is it just a side-scrolling beat 'em up? Is it a random generic game, something like that? So, yeah. And so what I'm showing here is just some random gameplay from Spider-Man 2 with, this is my last,
From your stream, right?
yeah, my last stream where I actually beat the game.
Nice. We're having a little bit of nightmareception.
Yeah. So, come on. Why was I paused for so long? There we go. So you can see him swinging around. And what you are seeing is a version of the game that I have heavily modded to run at 60 frames per second, lots of high def textures and everything.
Nice.
So yeah, I kind of made it look how I remembered it looking from when I was a kid. So, it's a very, it's just a very nostalgic game. It is so much fun, but it is also way shorter than I remember it being as a kid, because you can beat this game in maybe 15, 20 hours. And then once you get around halfway through the game, it just like runs you right through it. So, oh, come on. I keep pausing.
All right. So
there we go. Yeah. And this game also had some surprisingly good music. So the opening theme, so actually on my channel, some of my oldest videos are music rips from Spider-Man 1 and 2. So there's the Pizza Time theme, which of course is famous. But then there's the opening theme, which I really love. And for that one was a little bit weird because Tobey Maguire's narration is like embedded into the audio file for that.
Oh,
So what I actually did is I found the same music is used without the narration as the main menu theme on the PSP version of the game. So I managed to rip that. And so that is I believe, the highest quality version of that music available on YouTube. So,
huh. Interesting.
yeah. Let me see if I can show you some combat, because this game really got Spider-Man's like combat really well done here.
While you're looking for that, looks
show a little black cat here with her costume design here. Yeah, the Shocker. I added a little more sex appeal to Black Cat, as she was originally going to be portrayed in the game before they toned it down.
That's not the original skin.
No, so it's like the model is the same, but the textures are different.
Okay.
If you can see a little better, but yeah, so it's a little more revealing because based on the actual concept art, it was supposed to look like this, but they just kind of covered her up a little more.
Ah, gotcha.
So yeah, I did that. But a lot of these textures, like the UI, that is mine. I think the costume is like a slightly edited version of the mod I downloaded for like general HD textures and stuff. But yeah, there is a lot you can do in this game. There's just so much packed into it. And you get like this entire cut down version of Manhattan, as well as Roosevelt Island, actually. Yeah, and Tobey Maguire does a surprisingly good job in the voice acting. His voice acting really improves through the games. Like if you play Spider-Man 3, his voice acting is really good. But it's still pretty good in this one, I think.
So they do have Tobey Maguire as the voice actor too.
Yeah, all 3 games have Tobey Maguire, and then whichever movie's main villain is. They get that actor. So Willem Dafoe voiced Green Goblin in the first one. Alfred Molina is Doc Ock in this one. Yeah. And then the third one, they got Thomas Hayden Church, Topher Grace, Thomas Hayden Church for Sandman.
Yeah.
Topher Grace is Venom. And then they actually got James Franco to voice Harry Osborn, which he was voiced by Josh Keaton in the first 2 games.
Okay.
So
yeah, it's nice when they, cause a lot of times those movie tie-in games would have generic voice actors. They couldn't afford the actual actors.
Yeah.
So it's nice when they have the actual.
What's funny is that this one, so Kirsten Dunst, who played Mary Jane, she only did the voice in Spider-Man 2. They got other people for the Mary Jane's voice in 1 and 3. She was the worst of the voice actors.
That's not surprising.
So, yeah, she was a very, very bad voice actor. Oh yeah, there I am showing you the concept art for Black Cat.
Okay, gotcha. So.
Yeah, so it's fun. You run into like comic book shops to do your upgrades and stuff like that. It's just a great time, and I think if you're a Spider-Man fan and you want like a real Spider-Man game where he's not a soy boy, play this game.
Nice. So, and while we're on it, basically every version of Spider-Man 1 and 2 on Retro Achievements have a Retro Achievement set. So
nice. My recommendation, by the way, this is how I'm playing it here. Play it with the GameCube version, the North American GameCube version in Dolphin Emulator, and then download like the HD texture packs, and you can find these. I actually show how to do this in my second stream at the beginning.
Okay.
So you can get the 60 FPS hack, widescreen hack, all that stuff. There's a texture pack you can find, and a few other things you do to get it running nice and smooth. So
that just made me think that I need to ask you about something afterwards. It's not related to this, but you might know how to do what I've been trying to do since you know how to do, texture hacks and stuff. So
maybe.
These sorts of things. So,
yes.
Got a couple friendly faces showing up in chat. What's up, Crazy Landlow? Hope you're doing well tonight. It says, I love that I joined here. Spider-Man 1 movie game praise. So it sounds like he's a big fan.
Heck yeah, Landlow. Well, he's obviously a fan. I've told him before, but I know his profile picture. I know exactly where that's from.
The blue Spider-Man.
It is a promotional image from the first Spider-Man game. So it's actually the model. I believe it's the model used in either the game or its cutscenes. But for whatever reason, he just recolored it blue.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't originally blue.
Yeah, I actually have the wall. You know what? I might even find it just to prove it. I might have the wallpaper somewhere on my machine here.
So what's up? Yeah, I would assume he's a big fan of Spider-Man, given that's his avatar. And Backyard TARDIS, Nick, I haven't seen you in a long time. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Good to see you. He says, have we talked about DuckTales? No one has talked about DuckTales. I don't think that's going to show up on our list, but when I was doing some homework to see if there were any licensed games that I missed, I did see that one get mentioned a lot. So a lot of people really like the DuckTales game.
I mean,
okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, here.
I mean, come on.
See? It's the same image.
Oh, it's just his is reverse and colored blue.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
So, yes.
Yeah, because it almost looks like there's a crack in the eye.
It's not a crack. It's just the reflection. Because in the movie, in the Raimi trilogy, the lenses were very, very reflective.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So
all right, it's crazy. Says I get the comparison open world Spider-Man game. Yeah, TARDIS says I think a closer comparison is Spider-Man as Shenmue. I don't see it, but
I have never played Shenmue, so
I've never played it either. But I've seen plenty of it that I would not compare it to the Spider-Man games. But if that's what it makes you think of, oh, and Crazy's also played the mod. Nice. And the
I
PSP
assume
version.
he means my mod or like the mod.
He's
that
probably
I showed?
talking about the 60 FPS mod and better textures sort of stuff.
Okay, because I actually created the 60 FPS hack.
Nice.
Yeah, it's based on the original, which was someone else found that address, but I made it. What I did is I made it not run the cuts like the FMV cutscenes at double speed. So when the game is playing like those FMV cutscenes, they actually play at the normal, like it goes back to 30 FPS, so it doesn't like act all weird.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So
and he says the PSP version of Spider-Man 2 is great too. It's pretty much Spider-Man 1 with new levels. Nice.
It is a very, very similar to the first movie's game on consoles, with obviously with some new levels, and it's based on the second movie. Yeah, it's pretty similar to that. And then Spider-Man 3 on PSP is fully open world, but it's based on the PS2 version of the game. So like the PS2 and PS3 versions are different.
Okay.
But yeah, that one is the Spider-Man 3 is closer to this game.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So, and Crazy Elf says, I thought PS2 Spider-Man 2 was Toby's least good voice acting. I thought he did better in the other two. All right. And Carl showing up as well. I'm assuming he just got done with his stream, which I think was another gaming retrospective. They were doing the trial of Phil Spencer. So I will be watching that one here tonight after we're done catching up on that.
By the way, what you're seeing now is perhaps the greatest gaming challenge of all time. Mysterio with 3 health bars. If you just saw the red, yellow, and green right there.
Is he really difficult?
I'll show you how difficult he is. Give it just a sec here. So you see those health bars filling up there?
Or are you being sarcastic?
Let's just say that my top 2 franchises have a little something in common in terms of particular villains. So let's wait. Right there, watch that.
Yeah, I had a feeling it was gonna be like the Electrocutioner in Arkham Origins.
That is exactly the comparison I was making.
The first time I did that, I thought my game had glitched, and so I reloaded my last checkpoint, and I did it again. It still did it. I'm like, oh, that's just part of the game.
With Electrocutioner or with
the Electrocutioner? Yeah.
Okay, because I thought that was just a. Oh no, it was an actual fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it seemed like you were about to do an actual fight, and you just knocked him out one hit.
Yeah. No, because I kept thinking that was just a cutscene, but yeah, I think it was an actual fight.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, so. Yeah, this is just a great game. It is in my opinion, this is to superhero video games what Spider-Man 1 and 2 were to
the movies,
Marvel movies in general.
Well, yeah, good analogy. So, excellent. Yeah, totally understand. They are well regarded.
This game wall crawled so Arkham could cape glide.
That's great. So,
yep.
All right. Yeah. So, hello, Carl. Hope you're doing well. And he says, no, Jason. No, Jason. Unfortunately, is not feeling well tonight, so he wasn't able to join us. So, I mentioned this earlier. Since this was your topic, I did mention that at the top of the stream, Carl. Since this was your topic, you weren't able to make it tonight. You and Jason, and maybe get another person or two together to do a licensed game part 2 in my stead while I'm out of the country. So, hit up Jason and make that happen. So, lowest expectations says that DuckTales would be on his list. Nice. And Crazy says, I had this picture for over a decade. I was messing around with the pictures apps coloring and got the suit to look blue and black and just kept the picture for a decade before making it my profile picture. Nice. So, all right. Well, I think that does it for finishing up our number 2s. So before we finish up with the number 1s, we'll go into a few of our honorable mentions. I'll go ahead and kick off the honorable mentions because I don't have a whole lot of them. A couple of them I put my honorable mentions because they would be in my top 5, but it's kind of a gray area in that the game itself is not licensed, but all the content in the game is licensed. And that is the Guitar Hero Rock Band games, because all the music is basically licensed, but the game itself is not licensed. So I put that as a gray area. I'm like, I'll put that in the honorable mentions. But if it wasn't for that, I would absolutely have that in my top 5 because I love those games. Very similarly, the Tony Hawk games. It's like they licensed Tony Hawk persona and the music in the game, but the gameplay itself isn't licensed. So I put that was kind of a gray area as well. Particularly Tony Hawk 3 of the originals was my favorite. But if I had to pick out of all the Tony Hawk games that exist, Tony Hawk 1+2 remake is probably my favorite. That's just phenomenal. But my last one on here that is an actual fully fledged honorable mention is also, like Mummy Demastered, is an excellent movie-based game, and it is in that category of the game is far superior to the game it was based on, and that was X-Men Origins Wolverine. I only played it once, though. I did really like it, but I played it once like a decade ago, so it's been a very long time since I played it. But it was an awesome hack and slash, and you tear people's rims off, and you're cutting heads off and stuff. So it was great, a lot of fun. I should play it again because it's been a very long time, but that was a fun game. But since I've only played it once, it was over a decade ago, I had to put that in my honorable mentions. But that is a very good game. A couple of ones that would probably be on people's top 5 lists, but I haven't played any of them. But I will be playing them sometime soon in that they are in the list of games that I just died where I got the first achievement in them. So I will be playing them at some point. Is RoboCop Rogue City, Terminator Resistance, the Ghostbusters game, which is technically the actual third movie just turned into a game. And I bought that because of Carl, because I'm not a huge Ghostbusters fan. But he's like, dude, you got to play it. So I bought it. I'm playing that. The Mad Max game I've heard is excellent and also has Arkham style combat. And then lastly, the Witcher games. I have started those a long time ago. I just haven't played them because they're so long, but I will play them eventually. So shout out to those ones that I'm looking forward to playing. So, oh yeah, Lois makes a good point. Yeah, hey, we were just talking about that on the last episode of Party Chat on bands who would like to get their own Guitar Hero Rock Band game. The band-specific Rock Band Guitar Hero games like Guitar Hero Metallica and Van Halen and Aerosmith and Rock Band Beatles, Green Day, that would definitely be much more of a fully licensed music game. So that's a good point. I didn't think about that. Yeah, so let's go with Ryan. Do you got any honorable mentions?
I do, yeah.
One that you spoiled earlier?
I don't even actually remember that one, to be honest with you.
I don't remember what it was now either.
Because it got shot down so fast. So my first honorable, and this is going to be, Neo's going to be like, really? Are you serious? GoldenEye 007.
No, I mean, that was my number 5. So I don't know why. In that it's not on your top 5 and it's when you're on.
It's not on my top 5. No.
Okay. That
it is one of the.
It's like, why wouldn't it be on your honorable mentions? Because you're thinking that I would think that you would have it higher.
Yeah, it's one of the most incredible games. Probably, maybe even the top video game adaptation of all time.
The movie adaptation?
Yeah, movie. Video
I would definitely agree with that.
The thing is, though, is that I really love the game. I really do. I could probably play it till I'm blue in the face. It just doesn't seem to the movie is kind of basic. Look, not a shot at the movie. I love the movie. The game is basic gameplay. But it was revolutionary at the time,
At the
and
time, absolutely.
I just
Well,
couldn't.
for console gaming.
Yeah, I just couldn't put it on the list. I really couldn't. I wanted to.
That's fair enough.
I even I even wanted to put it on the as number one to kind of screw with you, but I would
That's
just
your
be full
list.
of yeah, I'd be full of shit. So I love GoldenEye 007. First person shooters would not be what it was without that game. And so anyway, I'm gonna move on to number 2. Big fan of this game. Big fan of this franchise. The Thing.
You've
Remastered.
been talking about that on Party Chat a lot lately.
Yeah. I played the original Thing game, PS2. Incredible game. The remastered version has been out for probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 7 months, 8 months, something like that.
The Thing on PS2 has a retro achievement set.
So anyway, another great movie franchise game. Incredible. You'll love it. From what I understand. Yep, go ahead.
I still haven't seen the movie, so I've been told that even though
You
I'm
have not seen the movie.
even though I'm not big on the horror movies, I've been told that I would like this by multiple people.
You're not big on the horror movies?
Yeah. I'm not big on just scary in general.
Yeah, same. Unless I'm the one who's scary.
Yes.
I'm goofing on you guys. It's horror, not horror movies.
Oh, that's what I said. I just didn't emphasize the horror.
Say horror.
Horror. I didn't say horror. I said horror. I didn't say horror.
You say horror? No, I'm just kidding. No,
Horror
all right.
versus Thok.
So anyway, no, the Thing game is really a lot of fun. It really is. This is the PS2 version, of course. So the remaster version, from what I understand, they did not change a lot of things. It's all above board. So that would be my final honorable mention. Yes.
Okay.
Those two did not make my list. And the finality, a lot of people are going to be a little. They're going to kind of be I'm not going to. No, I'm not going to say number one.
Okay.
But a lot of people are going to be like, really, with number one. So
okay.
yeah,
we haven't done Nightmare honorable mentions yet. So
yeah.
All right. And lowest expectation said that he could never get into GoldenEye back in the day, just wasn't for him. Fair enough. I know previous Party Chat co-host Mark the Cyborg, he was a PC well, actually I think he was a console gamer back in the day, but he's a big PC guy now. And it's like if you were a PC gamer back in the day and you were playing stuff like Quake and Doom and stuff, I could understand why you wouldn't be into GoldenEye. But if you were a console gamer, like GoldenEye was like the greatest thing like since the coming of Christ. But Backyard TARDIS says, what about Turtles in Time? I've never been much into the Turtles franchise, so it's definitely not on my list. But who knows? Maybe it's on one of these guys. We shall see. So, but before we find out all of our number ones, we still got to hear what Nightmare's honorable mentions are.
I agree with Dude, and I actually happen to like Mark partly for that reason.
Mark is a PC elitist, absolutely.
Yes, because I am one too. So
yeah, I've been converted, to be honest.
Well, it definitely is the best. Can't argue with that. But I still am a prefer console because I'd much rather prefer to play on my couch in front of my 75-inch TV than at my desk in front, in a chair in front of like a 30-inch monitor.
Yeah, I mean there are solutions for that, but
there are, but without short of buying a entirely separate PC just to plug it into my TV.
Oh yeah, but you can also get a giant HDMI cable.
That too, but that's that's also not ideal.
Yeah,
but, dude,
yeah. You have options.
Like a 10-foot HDMI cable will cost you $20.
10 foot? I would need like 100 foot.
For your TV?
That's down the hall and in the family room from my PC.
Yeah,
like on the other side of the house.
At that point, you'd want something closer to
$30
Steam
tops.
Link.
It's like
If I was to do that, I would run an HDMI through the wall and have an HDMI input here and an output at my TV. But
yeah,
it's very likely, me being primarily an Xbox guy, it's very likely that Steam will be coming to Xbox. So I would just play my Steam games on my Xbox from my
that'd be
TV.
kind of cool.
I cannot. I'm really hoping that's not just a rumor and that comes true because I cannot wait to play my PC games on my TV. Much easier than it is now.
Yeah, Landlow gets it. PC Master Race right there.
Yeah, PC Master Race.
Yeah, meanwhile, dude is like, PC
I
is
hope
digital
it's not
only.
because, quite frankly, Microsoft is absorbing everything at an alarmingly awful rate. Like,
yeah, I don't love Microsoft, but
I hate them.
They are the most consumer friendly.
No, they're not.
Of the consoles, they are.
It's like a race to the bottom with the consoles.
Yeah, it's like the race to getting ass fucked. It's like going, hey, I wanna get ass fucked first, and it's like going, no, bro, I want to get ass fucked first, dude. Like, Microsoft is not the way to go with tying everything together. They are consuming companies like it's going out of style. You think that you don't like the fact that there's not a physical copy now? Wait till Microsoft.
So here's the thing, and this is my argument against Dude as well.
Only.
This is my argument.
Mark against PC gaming.
My argument against Dude. Yeah, so my argument against Dude. One, all the newer consoles, you get like game codes, day one updates, all that stuff. So even your physical game isn't necessarily going to work offline in the future. And number two, yeah, GOG exists, and piracy technically exists, which, I mean, to be real, piracy has been massive for preservation of games. Like,
yeah,
everything is preserved it may be digital, but you can make as many copies of it as you want after that. And so it's preserved and it's just there for all time. And GOG's been doing a great job of making things compatible. So yeah, that's why PC is the best.
Yeah. Yeah, Lois says Microsoft is a great evil. Change my mind. I can't change your mind, but
I don't disagree.
Sony, I think they're the least of the three evils when it comes to.
Well, look at Dude. Friendly. He says at least Nintendo still knows how to make games.
That's true.
Yeah, but they know how to. I mean, Switch 2 only had one game.
I mean,
it's two, I think, but yeah, it doesn't really.
It launched last weekend.
Yeah, that's but usually fair, you have more than one.
Dude, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X had zero launch games. They were all PlayStation 4 or Xbox previous, whatever the fuck that crap is. Come on, man.
Again, I don't like any of the. Again, I don't use.
I don't like them either.
I have not even owned a console since the PS4, which I haven't touched in a very long time.
Well, mine's in storage. Mine's in storage.
Mine's wrapped in plastic in a box.
Like, I literally have the PlayStation Plus app for my computer in front of me, and that's how I play PlayStation games. Anyway,
I just don't play them because nothing good comes out anymore.
Yeah.
I disagree, but that's getting off topic. So
yeah, we're off topic. We're beating a dead horse.
But crazy, I agree with the mindset. Consoles, especially Switch, are for couch gaming. PC is more for hardcore gaming. Yep, I agree. TARDIS, I feel like you could make this top 5 with just Spider-Man, Batman, Star Wars. It gets more interesting outside of that because it's not predictable.
TARDIS, you should have been here earlier.
So, what about Street Fighter, the movie, the game? Yeah, that would count.
I liked
2 games on release. What? No way. There's definitely had to be more than that.
I liked both, by the way. I like the movie too.
Nintendo does how to make good, mostly complete games. Yep, just their business practices are scummy times. Agreed. So, all right. Anyways, Nightmare, do you have any more honorable mentions?
I have a boatload, so I am going to try and get through them very fast.
All right. I that was get mentioned. I've heard that that's actually a pretty good game.
It is. So this is another game you should play the GameCube version on Dolphin. It emulates pretty well, and you can get it to run 60 frames per second, I believe, just by increasing the clock speed. And it actually has a widescreen option built into the game too, so you can play it in widescreen. It's really nice. Yeah, it's probably, in my opinion, the best Batman game before
Arkham.
the Arkham games. Yes. So it does a decent job of stealth. The combat is okay. And they actually got most of the major voice actors in the game from the movie, which is pretty cool. So Christian Bale, Michael Caine, Morgan Freeman. I think Katie Holmes is in it. What's his name? Played Scarecrow.
The actor,
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy.
Yes, thank you. Cillian Murphy, Liam Neeson. I believe they're all in there, so that's pretty
Nice.
cool. Yeah, and and the Batmobile levels are actually really fun. I think it was Melee James who told me that they were based on the Burnout. The Batmobile levels were based on the Burnout games.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so yeah, Batman Begins. If you just want a little more Batman, give Batman Begins the give Batman Begins a try. And if you still want more, there's Batman Vengeance, which it's not an amazing game, but it's pretty good. Kevin Conroy is in it. It's based on the animated series. So it's okay. It plays okay. And this game had, I'm not sure if this was the first one, but it was one of the first games to have the Cape Glide. So there's that. I remember it being a bit frustrating to play at times, but it's pretty good. And you'll definitely get the animated series feel if you play it. So if you just want something very animated,
Based on that,
play this.
Box art, I would assume it has a animated series feel to it.
Yeah, it's based on the animated series. So you get that. Conroy's in it. I think Hamill's in it as Joker. So it's another good one. So next up, I'm gonna say Epic Mickey, which I'm just a fan of. I just like Mickey Mouse in general, and I think these are pretty decent games. So I'm gonna put these in there. Epic Mickey 1 and 2. I think 2 is kind of cool because the first one, I think Oswald the Lucky Rabbit is kind of an antagonist, and then in the second game, they realize they're brothers or something, and then they work together, something like that. So they're fun little games. I like them. Okay. Next up is another THQ classic, Fairly Odd Parents Break Into Rules, which so this is another fun one based on the TV show. And it was cell shaded, which I thought was kind of cool. And what this game does is you basically go around doing like different things from Fairly Odd Parents. So there's like a level where you play as Cleft in the Crimson Chin universe. I think that was my favorite level. There are other levels. There's one where you like go to school. There's one where you go to like camp, stuff like that. And it's just a lot of fun. Again, THQ they had so many of these licensed titles, and I loved a lot of them. Next up is Iron Man for PS3, which, I mean, you probably can expect from some of our conversations earlier because what we were talking about with Ryan. So I think this game, so it's not an amazing game or anything, but it had so much potential. And I say this all the time. If you could take this game and merge it with Just Cause 3's Jetpack DLC,
yes,
you would have the perfect Iron Man game. You really would. Also, what's kind of weird about this one is that Robert Downey Jr. is credited as Iron Man, but there's another actor named Steven Stanton who is also credited as Iron Man, so I don't actually know what Robert Downey Jr. actually contributed to this game. But yeah, there's that. And one of the things that was cool is that this game had like a huge assortment of costumes Iron Man suits you could pick from.
Cool.
So that's pretty cool. And they did a good job, in my opinion, of writing Tony Stark because he talks a lot like he does in the movies. And so yeah, it's just very cool all around. I like it. It's a fun one. Next up is a James Bond game, but it's not the one you expect.
Agent Under Fire. I was thinking of Nightfire because I heard Nightfire was pretty good too.
Nightfire was the sequel, but what's weird about this one? So I think a lot of the James Bond games from GoldenEye up through the early to mid Daniel Craig era were pretty good. I just put this one because I have a lot of nostalgia for this one.
Okay.
The fun fact, even though this was supposed to be based on Pierce Brosnan, this specific game, for whatever reason, they could not get the likenesses of any of the actors. So they got another guy named Max Caulfield who is very, like, he really resembles Pierce Brosnan to play James Bond. And for the longest time, I had no idea it was not Pierce Brosnan in this game.
No, because he looks so much like him.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then they had Nightfire, which is pretty good. That one had multiplayer. So yeah, there's GoldenEye, World Is Not Enough, Agent Under Fire, Nightfire, then you had Daniel Craig with his GoldenEye remake. He also had Quantum of Solace. Quantum of Solace, and then Bloodstone, which was like an original story, and that was kind of decent. So if you're looking for a James Bond game to play, I would recommend anything in that list because they're all decent enough. And then Nicktoons Unite, another THQ. So this was might have mentioned this one on a previous party chat or previous top 5. So Nicktoons Unite, it plays a little bit like Marvel Ultimate Alliance does, that like top-down RPG with four characters. But I mean, you only have the 4 characters in this game. So this is, SpongeBob, Timmy from Fairly Odd Parents, Danny Phantom, and Jimmy Neutron. So it's like a crossover thing, and you're around. It's just one of those games where there's a lot of love from THQ on these properties, and it's worth play if you like any of these. So that's another honorable mention there. A lot of nostalgia for me. Samurai Jack Battle Through Time. This, if you like Samurai Jack, you need to play this game, and it pisses me off that it's been delisted on Steam.
Oh, bummer.
So yeah. So what they did is they took Samurai Jack has a few games, but this is the only one that I think is worth playing. So with the story with Samurai Jack is you had the first 4 seasons years ago, and then they made season 5 more recently to like complete the series, and season 5 ends on kind of a bittersweet ending. So what they did is this game takes place like right in the middle of the final battle. Aku throws Jack into another like time warp, and then he's like traveling through time, reliving a lot of his past battles. So you're basically kind of playing through a lot of those. And then I believe when you replay the game, if you collect all the collectibles, you can unlock a secret hidden ending that is actually a happier ending than the ending in the actual show.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so I'm a big fan of that. And again, they did a really good job with Samurai Jack. I think Phil Lamar does voice Jack in the game. So there's that.
Because he's the one who voices him in the show, right?
Yes. Yeah, people are always surprised by that, but yeah. So yeah, they did a great job with this. I was very happy I played it. I'm very happy I bought it before it was delisted. So if you're a Samurai Jack fan, give this one a shot. Couple more here. Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions is decent if you're into the whole multiverse thing. I think they did it a little better than all the modern Spider-Verse nonsense, but this is okay. My favorite, so each Spider-Man has slightly different gameplay, but the best one in my opinion is Spider-Man Noir, who has like,
I had a feeling,
vaguely Arkham-ish, like kind of the Predator rooms-ish gameplay. Not as good, but because but the newer Spider-Man games like Amazing Spider-Man and then the Insomniac games, they copy for the stealth segments, which Spider-Man should have stealth segments like normal Spider-Man, but they basically ripped off the Spider-Man Noir segments here to do those. And because you'll like, if you play this and then you play those, you'll notice the gameplay is very, very similar. But yeah, so they have that. That's kind of cool. It's okay. I don't like the writer. Dan Slott is a hack. But then this game had a follow-up, Spider-Man Edge of Time, which for whatever reason was not on PC. I actually really like this game. So these two games were actually linear. They're not like open world or anything. But Edge of Time was written by Peter David. He did a really great job. And I actually like the two voice actors. So Josh Keaton voices regular Spider-Man, and then Chris Barnes from the 90s show, he voices the 2099 Spider-Man. This game is so well written, and the whole plot is basically 2099 has to come save regular Spider-Man from being, after being murdered, and then there's like this whole time paradox. Val Kilmer is in the game as one of the main villains. Since I know, Ryan, you like Batman Forever.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so Val Kilmer's in this game. But yeah,
Yes.
so he plays one of the main villains.
R.I.P. by the way.
What?
Yeah.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Because
Yeah. He passed away recently. Yep, that's true. But yeah, so there's all these like time paradoxes and stuff, and it's kind of messy, but it's well done. And these two games had a ton of alternate costumes as well. But yeah, I recommend Edge of Time. I really recommend giving a shot if you're interested in like that like late 2000s. I actually think it's 2011. But if you're interested in like that era of action adventure game with Spider-Man, I actually do highly recommend that. Next up, I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for picking this one for Star Wars, but I love Force Unleashed, and especially Force Unleashed 2.
Yeah, I think we talked about that recently.
Yes. So I won't spend a ton of time here, but I love these two Star Wars games.
I don't think you should get hate for that. Those are good games. Why would you get
they're
hate?
good, but because everyone goes, oh no, KOTOR is the best game and this and that. And I'm like, but I like these.
I mean,
Force Unleashed games got way better gameplay than KOTOR does.
Yeah.
Easy.
So like basically everyone's like, if you're gonna pick a Star Wars game,
gameplay is not that great. It's got amazing story, but the gameplay is not anything to write home about.
Yeah, but I love these games, so pick those, and then I think that is it for my honorable mentions.
All right, well, good stuff. I'm gonna catch up on chat here real quick before we move on to our number ones. And TARDIS saying that Switch 2 doesn't have a big library of must plays now. Yeah. I know it'll eventually have a good legacy, but I'm still not sure why you'd buy a PS5 or Series X. Depends on your preference. Like for me, I'm an Xbox guy. I'm invested in the ecosystem, and I like achievements, so that's why I'll get an Xbox as long as they release them. But to each their own. Dude says Super Mario 64 and Pilot Wings were the only games in the N64 for over a month. You missed one. Forgot Wave Race. That was the launch title as well. So, but still, 3 is not a whole lot. So, and I looked up the launch titles and I was like,
"Boo this man, boo!"
I thought there were more than that. So yeah, you were pretty spot on. And TARDIS still prefers Batman Returns for Sega CD. Nice. Lois said, even the Wii U had a decent library. And dude saying I played Breaking the Rules, not the rules, the rules. For the PS2 launch event on Retro Achievements. Fairly Odd Parents look weird in 3D.
They do look weird in 3D.
So, Lois is coming in with his list of top 5 licensed games. Number 5, DuckTales. Number 4, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Number 3, Star Wars Battlefront 2. Number 2, Guitar Hero Metallica. Number 1, Dragon Ball Z Legacy of Goku 2. And some honorable mentions, Spider-Man N64, NFL Blitz 2000. Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? And Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on SNES. I had that game. One of the few beat 'em ups that I ever played. So,
Spider-Man N64, like both of only the first one is Neversoft, but like the really it was Spider-Man PlayStation 1 and Enter Electro. Those are the PlayStation 1 version is the more definitive version of each game because the N64 version of the first one was cut down. They're fine games, but I would not like consider them amazing, just because they're more nostalgia than they are great gameplay.
Yeah. So, dude is challenging me, saying the Wave Race was released on November 4th. According to Retro Achievements, it was released on September 27th. When the N64 launched. So I don't know where your November 4th information is coming from, unless Retro Achievements has it wrong. But anyways, crazy Landlords. I think he's probably might have gone back and watched some of the early part of the stream talking about Hogwarts Legacy was disappointing in my opinion. Great looking world, but generic combat and story and didn't finish it. Super Mario Galaxy is the best Wii game. I don't think any Mario is the best game on any Nintendo console, but that's just me. And Lois says, crap, I forgot to include SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. Slide that into number 4. That was on Nightmare's list.
That was literally my number 4 lowest.
So dude says, oh, he's looking at Wikipedia. So maybe Wikipedia's got it wrong. Or maybe Retro Achievements has it wrong. But I would go with Retro Achievements. So anyways, all right. Well, with that, we will finish up the stream with our number ones for tonight. Let's see here. I'll go ahead and go first because this is what I was referring to earlier. I keep it to 1 per IP/franchise because otherwise this would have just been a list of top 5 Star Wars games all over again because every Star Wars game is a licensed game. So no surprise here. My favorite licensed game is also my favorite Star Wars game. And that was on a previous episode of Top 5, but he missed that one. That is Star Wars Jedi Academy. What's that?
Dude is both right and wrong.
Oh, you gotta you're looking up for the Wave Race release?
Yeah, so
what do you find?
It was released in North America November 4th. It was released in Japan September 27th.
Oh,
that's
so we're both
the
right,
one
we're
that
both
counts.
wrong. So okay.
That's the one that counts. Sorry, dude.
I'm with him though. I'd say what counts is what were released on launch day in America, in the US. So I'm actually in this case, I would say I would be wrong and dude would be right.
I disagree.
So but thank you for that clarification. So yeah, Retro Achievements has this Japanese release date.
Go ahead.
Which that would make sense. So
top 1.
But yeah, anyways, my number 1 is my favorite Star Wars game, and that is Star Wars Jedi Academy, because still to this day it has the best lightsaber combat of any Star Wars game ever, and I would be surprised if it will ever get beat. The story is nowhere near as good as Jedi Outcast. The story in that one is much better, but they took everything they did with this saber combat in Jedi Outcast and cranked it up to 11 and just made it even that much better, because the saber combat in Jedi Outcast was already phenomenal. But a lot of people don't like the first act of the game because you don't even get your lightsaber until like level 7 in Jedi Outcast. Jedi Academy, you start with it at the beginning of the game and you just further get better throughout the game. Jedi Outcast, you don't actually get to like put your points in anything. It just automatically your force powers upgrade at certain points throughout the game. Jedi Academy, you actually have a light and dark side, so you can go and pick whether you want to play, go light side or dark side, and you get to pick which points you put your force powers into. And you have 3 different saber combat styles. You got single saber, you got dual saber, and you got staff saber. And you only have 1 saber in Jedi Outcast, but you did have the 3 separate stances with that one. Where if you go with 2 sabers, you can turn one off and just use 1 saber in Jedi Academy, but you don't get the 3 different stances. You only get that if you go with the single saber. But my particular saber style of choice is staff saber, and so yeah, I think it is still to this day the best Star Wars game, and the one that makes you feel more like a Jedi than any other Star Wars game. And I cannot sing the praises of Jedi Outcast and Jedi Academy enough. But if I had to pick one, easily Jedi Academy, because it has the best lightsaber combat. So yeah, so that is mine. But I've talked about that at length on many party chats and top 5s. So I'll leave it at that. And let's see here. And Tara says, I thought you were going to say Yoda stories. No, I was not going to say Yoda stories. And dudes, Wave Race Still 64 wasn't a launch title because of Japanese release. Yeah, exactly. Japanese release of the N64 in June was in June, whereas here it came out in September. Though Japan had a 3rd launch title based on Shogi. I have no idea what that is, but all right. Landlow came in, thinking about his top 5 of licensed game: Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, Spider-Man 1 and 2 movie games. Yeah, we talked about those at length because those are on Nightmare's list. Star Wars Battlefront 2 and Dragon Ball Z Budokai 1. Nice. So, all right. Ryan, what about you? What is your number 1?
My number 1 is actually going to be a wrestling game. Yes.
Oh, it's the second time a wrestling game is number 1 on someone's list.
Yeah, it's going to be WWE SmackDown Shut Your Mouth. It is.
Is that actually the name of one of them?
Yes, it is.
I've heard of Know Your Role, but I haven't heard of Shut Your Mouth.
So Know Your Role was actually it was beforehand, if I remember correctly. Anyway, so Shut Your Mouth, the reason I picked this one, and it was my favorite by far, any way, shape, or form as a kid, because the mechanics worked. So it took the WWF SmackDown franchise, SmackDown 1 and SmackDown 2, Know Your Role. Then there was Just Bring It and stuff like that. It took the mechanics of those games and it incorporated it into the best graphics you could get on the PlayStation 2. And it had the full encompassed storyline if you wanted to play the storyline. And of course, and this is the way, and this is going to sound so super lame, the way I rated wrestling games per date, even to this date, the entrance.
Oh, I thought you said the box
What?
art.
No. Whether or not the audience went nuts for a certain, the entrance was everything. Because when you would go to a live event and your favorite superstar, mine was The Rock. As soon as you got to the smell part, the audience went
Erupted.
just psychotic, just fucking psychotic, especially in 2000, 2001, especially 2000, 2001, 2002. It was insane, and the game got it right. And
This is a PS2 game, right?
yes, it was. Yeah, and the
Does
game
not have
got
a
it
retro
right.
achievement set.
No, probably not. The game got it right. The audience exploded. There was like back when flash photography was a thing. Now we have these.
Yeah, so you see all the flashes in the audience.
Yeah, zero.
Well, now I'm talking about back then, though.
Yeah, no, it was like everywhere, and like it literally panned the audience, like as The Rock walked out. Because it mimicked an actual thing when The Rock would actually walk out, and the audience would go nuts, and it would like have little lull parts where like the audience would get a little lower after he initially walked out. It was high, it was super high, and then kind of like dipped down. He climbed the ring, and as soon as he like climbed the ring post and did this again, full audience, full noise, like it was just, I don't know. As a kid, I was like, it was so good. It's great. And so that's literally one of the reasons that it's my favorite. It's probably super nostalgic. It has nothing to do with being a great game, but it was massively nostalgic for me. And
another THQ game.
it is a THQ game. So
They did a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, they did it right. And I mean I could share the video, but I don't want you to get claimed, so let's not do that. So
All right. So that was WWE. Oh, it is WWE. Or was it WWF at the time?
no, it was actually just after the transition.
change.
It
Okay.
was WWE SmackDown Shut Your Mouth because it was literally Get the F Out was their title thing. So
And you got on the box art, you got a stare down between The Rock and the Hulk Hogan, right?
yeah.
So, all right. Yeah, I would assume I've never really been into wrestling. I haven't played really any wrestling games. I would assume that wrestling games typically aren't like amazing games, but they like cater to their audience very well.
Oh, there's a couple. There's a couple that cater so well that you could literally, like, non-wrestling fans just fall in love with them. And at the same time too, it's where I learned to do this. And as a kid, no, I'm not joking. I literally emulated The Rock. And I literally like go, if you smell, yeah, just the tongue thing. It's like everybody's like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, but like now everybody knows what if you smell. So Anyway, in case you
All
were
right.
I'm just thinking of SpongeBob's victory screech.
SpongeBob.
All right. So I got another top 5 with someone got a wrestling game in the number 1 slot. Nice. So, and real quickly, Craig Lando says, "Yeah, we did have a ton of multiplayer games because there was just not that any of these are shovelware, but there was just so much shovelware on the Wii. But the Mario Kart games, Mario Party games, the Smash Bros, the new Super Mario Bros, Wii Sports, and the best brawl mod was Project Remix. I don't know what that one is either, but maybe Nightmare might know about that one.
I don't, but I know there are a ton of them. So
okay, the only one I thought like the only one I had ever heard of was Project M, and I just thought that was like the the industry
that's like the most
standard for
popular
modders.
one, I think.
I didn't know there was all these other ones too.
Yeah, that's like the most popular one. I think most of them are just like rebalance mods to like, change the stats and that kind of thing of the characters and basic gameplay. All I really wanted was Waluigi, so I downloaded Brawl Minus because it had Waluigi. So
that works. So, all right, Nightmare. Let's finish off tonight's top 5 with your number 1 license game.
You can probably guess what you're about to see.
No, just the trilogy in general. I was going to say,
yeah.
I would be surprised if one of them wasn't on your list somewhere.
Yeah, I cannot pick between Asylum, City, and Night because each of them is just so special in its own way. Asylum it was the first game. The atmosphere in the Asylum has the best atmosphere by far, because it's Arkham Asylum.
Right.
City, meanwhile, it has that like political thriller type of story to it. And it's, it just builds so well on top of Asylum. And then, of course, Arkham Knight, it's that big finale. It feels the most cinematic, and it has the most fluid gameplay. And the Batmobile, it gets too much flack. The Batmobile is they did overuse it, especially in place of like actual villain fights, but it is so much fun to drive. I've never driven a car and had more fun in a game driving a car than the Batmobile.
I'm trying to think of something else. I would probably agree with you. I'd have to go look through other stuff, but the next closest thing that pops into my head is the agency vehicles in Crackdown.
Yeah.
Those
I think
are fun,
I've heard someone suggest that.
But
yeah, and like the marketing for Night, like they really leaned into the whole idea of, be the Batman. So, right there, be the Batman right there.
Yeah.
So like they really leaned in because they did such a good job of making the game feel like Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I want to show this really quick because this is one of my favorite trailers. Let me know if you can hear the audio.
Then I'm wall climbing, baby. I'm also testing a theory.
The celebrities are annoying. Ignore them, but just wait till
that
you
guy
hear.
looks familiar.
They're celebrities. I think that's Shaun White. Just give it a sex here.
I don't think he was.
No, he's in
the.
Oh no, he's in that one Comedy Central show.
Yeah, he is. What the hell is that called?
I want to say he was in IT Crowd.
No, not
no.
It was this one show about like a couple of like burnouts in an office with like some annoying lady.
What
I can't remember the show.
I can't either.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does look like Shaun White though, but it's not him.
Yeah. No, it's not Shaun White. You're right. Anyway, just watch the rest of this.
Waiting for.
Again, the celebrities are very annoying. Ignore them.
Be the Batman.
Hey.
Be the Batman. Be the Batman.
Except for that one.
Was the Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
Best Batman. I am the Batman.
Oh,
Yeah, you are.
yeah,
Yes,
you are.
I am
See?
Batman.
That's good
Yeah.
stuff.
And I'll just play some Arkham Knight footage here.
Is it weird that my wiener's hard? No.
Not at all.
Not really.
He's like,
Is
no,
he-
you're good, dude.
No, that is, because he really was the best of, he really was Batman.
He was.
Oh, yes, he was.
And this was probably his final greatest performance before he passed away. He had a lot of other performances afterward, but this
Not
is
as
probably like his last big, successful, beloved project.
Yeah.
And then
he knew what he was doing, and he knew that everybody who loved him knew what he was doing. So,
well, he knew everybody loved him. He knew everybody loved him, and he appreciated that everybody loved him.
yep.
Yes.
Like I have never heard anything about him, being upset. Like a
No,
lot of actors
no.
would be like, "Oh, why am I stuck voicing a kid's character?" He
Nope.
just really appreciated everything he got. There's the
He is
Batmobiles for his
Batman.
appearance. Yeah,
He is Batman.
yeah. He had so many like cool stories about people recognizing him. Apparently, he was like helping at like a soup kitchen or something like that. Right after 9/11, somebody recognized his voice. Like he was just doing it, anonymously as a normal person. And somebody recognized his voice while he was just helping out, and so they got him to do the voice for him. So stuff like that, just one of the rare celebrities that was actually a nice person,
yeah.
and even seems to be even rarer when it comes to voice actors for some reason. But
Yeah, that's a good point.
But yeah, this is.
Probably 'cause a lot of
I'm
voice
showing
actors. People don't know their faces.
That's true, but a lot of the ones that people do know tend to be very obnoxious.
Yes.
I've heard good things about Tom Kenny, who voices SpongeBob, so there's that. But yeah, like Mark Hamill, on the other hand, I mean, I know he and Hamill and Conroy I know they were good friends, but Hamill went kind of crazy, whereas Conroy has just always been kind of. He was always just kind of
Kevin Conroy and Peter McCullen.
Yeah.
Peter McCullen.
Literally the Mount Rushmore of voice actors, and there's only two.
Yeah. That's
I am Optimus Prime.
Yeah, they are very, very shoot, what's the I just had it.
I mean, these are two guys that I literally started making, imitating voices because of, literally.
Yeah.
And of course I'm better Optimus than Peter McCullen, but it's like,
yes,
and Robin Williams, started, that too. Like,
I believe Robin Williams was Kevin Conroy's roommate.
Was he really? I didn't know that.
At Juilliard. Yeah, at Juilliard.
That's
Thank
pretty
you
cool.
for choosing Magic Carpet for all your travel needs. Thank you. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Now. Thank you. Goodbye. It's like, God, they were inspirational, sensational, one of a kind. Like, just what do you do with that? You can't do anything with that. They're one of a kind.
Yeah,
you can imitate them, and it's great.
They are people in the industry to aspire to be like, is not the word I was looking for, but that it makes the closest thing of what I was trying to say.
Yeah, they set the standard. There will never be another Batman as good as Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
And I wanted, for the Disney live action Aladdin, I was like, they're like, oh, Will Smith. And I'm like, no, find somebody who can mimic Robin Williams' voice. Does it look a little bit different, but he can do the voice.
Nah, you got Will Smith as Blue Shrek instead.
That was so crap. God, that sucked.
Yeah. I mean, that's Disney's live action remakes for you. But again, on the topic of these games, these are, in my opinion, the best licensed property, especially the best superhero games of all time.
Can't argue with that.
They like what Spider-Man 2 did. This is that on steroids. They just built a game so passionately around the character of Batman. They got the right voice actors, the right story. Paul Dini of the animated series wrote the first two games. A little disappointing he didn't write the third, but I still really like Arkham Knight. The gameplay is so solid. What they did with the Predator rooms is brilliant because it's not just stealth gameplay, but it's Predator room. So you're hunting the enemies, which is what makes Batman's stealth feel so good, because most stealth, it makes, you're just hiding from everyone and you're just kind of hoping for a chance to take out an enemy or something really quick, and then you run away. Meanwhile, Batman, it makes you feel like a very powerful hero, not just some weak loser.
Yeah, especially when you
So-
got it down, Predator room down to like 1 or 2 guys left. You can see that they're terrified.
Yes,
gives you-
yes, they do such a great job of that, really instilling that fear in the enemies.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they just did everything so well. And I remember way back in Arkham Asylum, the PS3 version that I had, there was an interview with some of the, like, there's an interview with, there was an interview with Kevin Conroy as well on there, but there was, they were just like going around talking to some of the developers, and one of the developers specifically was saying, yeah, we wanted to do our best to make sure that like Batman fans wouldn't be going, oh, that's not something Batman would do. This isn't right. They just really wanted it to feel like Batman, and they nailed it.
Absolutely.
My one complaint about Arkham Asylum really is just that Alfred is not in it.
Yeah,
That's really
I
my
remember you
only
saying
complaint
that
about
before.
Asylum. Yeah, but Asylum, City, and Night, can't pick between the three. Love them all. Yeah, so
All
these
right.
are just so
Good pick. Yeah, I figured one of them was going to be your number one.
And of course, beautiful
Wasn't sure
character
which one.
designs. Can't forget that.
Yep.
Beautiful character designs. I just remembered that when I saw this.
Yeah, I wonder what reminded you of that.
Yeah.
Good looking characters. And yeah, despite Arkham Knight being over 10 years old now, it still is an amazing looking game.
It looks good. I will say, if you play it at higher resolutions, like if you're playing it at 4K, the textures do start to look a little low res. But beyond that, it still looks great. Asylum and City, especially City, I think is the one that visually holds up the best, because one, of its style, and two, because its textures are just high res enough to not be a problem in conjunction with its style. But yeah, all the games are great. I believe they can all run uncapped on PC with little trouble. So yeah,
good stuff. So yep, definitely top tier quality right there. So good pick. So
just one final thing I should note, because it's worth noting. This game is the reason I named my character Nightmare.
That's
with
right.
a K, because the difficulty setting on New Game Plus in the game is called Nightmare difficulty, Nightmare with a K. So
right. Yeah, because
that's where I got the name.
With the once you get the 100%, you get the extra ending with the little scene at the end with Nightmare Batman.
Yep.
So that's where your avatar comes from.
Allegedly, yes.
Allegedly. So, all right. Well, with that, a couple more things here in chat. Crazy Lando's answer what the Project Remix was. It's a mix of mods of Project M, one called Legacy XP, and it's got over 100 characters. Holy crap, that all feel official. I got to look into that then. Project Remix. Let me pull that up now so I don't forget about it. Smash Bros. Brawl Project Remix. I have to check that out. So cool. Thanks for letting me know about that. That is awesome. It's that many characters. I think that's even more characters than Ultimate. But dude is saying the lack of X-Men Origins Wolverine is troubling. I did have that in my honorable mentions, in case you missed that. Crazy Landlow's favorite is Arkham Asylum because of the atmosphere. Can't argue with that. It's a great game as well. And dude says, haven't heard anything bad about Johnny Young Bosch. I don't know who that is.
The Asian Black Ranger.
I don't think I ever saw that season.
The name sounds familiar, but I don't recognize him.
He's literally the Asian Black Ranger.
I
know that, but like as
that is. I remember the original Black Ranger, Zach. Yeah, I don't know that I've ever seen this guy before.
Oh, so he does a lot of anime voices. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, but he's a voice actor. So, but cool. That there's another seemingly good guy out there doing some good work. So, and Crazy Landlow saying that Waluigi is also in Project Remix. So, for Smash Brawl. Oh, and yeah, dude is saying that he does anime voiceover work. So, all right. Well, with that, that'll wrap it up here for episode 33 of Top 5. Unfortunately, Jace wasn't feeling so hot, so he wasn't able to join us tonight. But maybe he'll be able to do another one, part 2 of licensed games with Carl and a couple other friends of the channel. Maybe while I'm gone. So, but before we say goodnight here, we'll go around the horn here and everyone shout out what they got going on. Nightmare, you got anything you want to you got going on you want to plug?
Yeah, so I've been trying to stream a little more on my channel. So last couple of weeks I streamed Spider-Man 2, wrapped that up pretty quickly. I will probably this Thursday afternoon, around 2 Eastern, hopefully, be streaming something a little more spicy this time. I'm going for Tyrone versus Cops, a game I've never played before. Yeah, so I am very excited to try that out, and feels a little
it's very in the vein of the
feels like good timing. Simulator. Well, it feels like good timing given current events. I plan to play this game, like I was actually planning to do this before anything even started. So I'm like, it just kind of worked out. So hopefully it's a good time. I'll be doing a lot of Kanye impressions, hopefully. So yeah, you can join me for that on Thursday. That's the plan. And if you want a little more on-demand content, I still have my Amazing Comics videos on the channel, which are really interesting, worth checking out. My last one is a 40-minute 40-minute video that goes over the history of the Comics Code. So recommend watching that.
Cool. Well, the link to his channel and Ryan's are in the stream description, but I dropped the link to his channel in the chat as well. If you want to go give Nightmare a sub, since he did just change the name of his channel, I think, or at least the URL or something along those lines.
I basically changed everything.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can also follow me on the Twitter if you want some nice boomer posting.
All right. Well, always good having you hang out for a couple hours to talk some nerdy video game stuff. So thanks for joining. And Ryan, what do you got going on?
Well, tomorrow, we're going to be on Vets Talking. We have been, so Adam has taken a little bit of a break and kind of like interwoven stuff like that. Anyway, long story short, we're going to be doing Vets talking about paranormal stuff because, military personnel, we get sent into the worst situations and we stay in dwellings that have paranormal activity. So,
like the movie?
Well, no. Well, yeah, the name. Anyway, when you're forced into a combat zone or something with a long, stated history, it's just different is the best way to put this. So
yeah,
as a veteran myself, and Adam is too, and we're going to have multiple others, we're going to talk about the fact that war zones and historical landmarks, they have weird shit that happens around them. So that's what we're going to be doing. Anyway, long story short, thank you, Nightmare. Had a lot of fun, dude. Seriously. And even without the voice changer, the last time we were on, you had the voice changer.
So. Oh yeah, I did the Kevin Conroy impression.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, that's all right. It's all good in the hood, man.
Yeah,
love your avatar. Yeah, and Neo. So you're getting ready to go on vacation and stuff like that. So it's gonna be a long hiatus until mid-July. And
yeah, I'll get to that in just a moment.
Gonna miss hanging out, but I had a lot of fun. Thank you for reminding me, because
you're welcome. I'm glad you were able to make it.
Hey, yes, sir.
Yeah, I always love getting to come on and chat video games and stuff.
As for myself, nothing on my channel tomorrow night, but I will be over on Carl's channel for another.
God damn it, Carl.
I think it's another gaming retrospective. He started a couple of new streams recently, and oh, actually, no. I think this is in his Legacy Loading series of streams. But I'll be over on Carl's channel tomorrow night, and we'll be talking about BioWare. And then my last stream for the summer, essentially, is going to be on Thursday night. Dude and I are going to be doing our next episode of Achievement Chasers, talking about our achievement hunting over the course of May. And then I will be gone next week. And I won't be able to be, even after I get back, I won't be able to be online for this sort of stuff for a couple weeks. So the next scheduled thing is Metroidvania Monday on July 21st. And the next party chat should be on July 22nd. But that's subject to change. So I'll be off for a little bit. So for you guys, thanks for hanging out with us tonight as we talked video games. Go have a great summer. And we will see you hopefully in a couple more nights here on Thursday. But after that, we'll be off for summer. So we'll see you at the end of July or maybe early August if things turn out that way. But thank you guys for joining me on the panel tonight. Thank you, everyone in chat, for hanging out with us. And you guys, everyone, have a good night. And as I said, have a good summer. And we'll see y'all next time. And as always, oh, it's got the sound this time. Good stuff. But anyways, we'll see y'all later. Have a good one. And in the meantime, game on.